Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing. Let's make sure. Okay, cool. Now I just gotta wait for people to arrive. Hopefully it'll be a good night. Probably also look at spoilers today. Well, not Hero Academia spoilers, but there's other series that have spoilers as well. It's kind of fortunate we don't have Hero Academia though. And let's see. Doesn't look like there's any new series coming up. Ah, cool. Hey, Robert. Hey, Deathray. Sar. Animamus. Hey, Skell. Man, Skell, I was going to play Arc Knights, but I couldn't get my other computer working in time. So that's why we're here. I'm sad that you're here, Scale. Only because now you're going to have to not go through that. Also, Skell, I downloaded Gloomhaven, like the video game. And that's also like what really threw me off. I was hoping to maybe play it on stream, but unfortunately didn't get it working in time. So gotta figure that out. And it doesn't have gamepad control either, which will make things a little bit harder. So I might not be able to play it in general. But it was pretty. I didn't know Gloomhaven was getting a video game like thing, so that was actually pretty cool. Does anyone else know Gloomhaven? Like Skelly and I play it, but I think maybe Vance would know it. Anyway, hey Ty. Hey, White Despair, and let's see, Viz. Hey, Viz, and I said hi to Sar, Animamus, and yeah, Deathray. Okay, cool, and Robert. Great. Anyway, guys, yeah, it'll probably be chill. I still am working on that one character that I need to build up. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing, like when it comes to the game. And then maybe tomorrow we'll be able to play Arc Knights or Gloomhaven, depending on if I get it working. And he was in early beta for months. Oh, okay, yeah, Scale. The version I have, I saw 1.0 on it, so it's like the first version there. I got a little bit scared when I was looking at it though, because it said that it pretty much replicates the Gloomhaven game itself. And like Scale, you know, I'm playing it with some friends here, and I haven't finished the storyline, so that's kind of putting me off, because it's like, well, I don't want to play anything that I haven't played with my friends, kind of thing. It's neat that they've replicated it so much, but I was kind of hoping that maybe they'd have something else, or you know, I was hoping they'd have like content that wasn't in the board game. But at the same time, like, what's the point of playing if you're not going to be replicating the experience? Anyway, yeah, that was exciting. I'm excited. And Vance, you're enjoying Reincarnated as an Assassin? Cool, cool, cool. I haven't watched third episode yet. Finished watching Young Justice season 3. Oh, John. So okay, so you went through season 3. Cool. Yeah, I still haven't finished that first episode of the 4th season. So hopefully I'll do it at some point here. Narusako made way worse sense than Naruhiga. Kishimoto only cared about his honeymoon. Respectable. Nah, Deathray. I feel Hinata made more sense than Sakura. Like, honestly. Well, I think he could have done it better. I think if he had more follow-through after Hinata saves Naruto from pain, I think that would have been good. But at the same time, it's like Kishimoto. Like, he probably doesn't actually know how to write romance. Actually, he said this. He doesn't know how to write romance. And in his mind, he always wanted Sakura to be one of the boys, right? So, you know, what can you do? Should have been Naru Sasuke. Oh, well, see, like, that's how you know Skelly is. He's a man of class. That's what you can really see here. The only romance that makes sense. That was their first kiss too. Wouldn't well, you know, there would have been a significant portion of the audience that would have been very happy for Naru Sasuke. Is Lowe's better than redo of Healer? At least the author is really trying this time. Oh, yeah, Vaz, I agree. I haven't missed anyone's comments, right? Because a bunch of you just came... Oh, yeah, Ty, there you go. You think of playing a horror game since October? Oh, if you do, play Poppy Playtime. You can finish it within an hour, no spoilers, but it'll be fun to see you scared. It's $5. Alright, Ty, you know, you're a supporter of the channel. I will see if I can get it tomorrow, and if I can't get it for tomorrow, I will get it for next week. Poppy Playtime. Oh, god damn it. I'm already kind of wincing on the inside. Gamepad, does game controller work on it? Do you know, Ty? Just because like that makes it a little bit easier for me to set it up on my side. Ty, this is gonna suck. I hate you. Okay. Ty. I'm already wincing. Damn it. All right. All right. Vance, on that point about redo of healer, yeah, like redo of healer, it really just seems like that was the thing that let him get the money, and then reincarnate as an assassin is pretty much the passion project. That's how I kind of see it. And then we have Tallow here. Hey Tallow, we interrupt this Bob Hart, Babishola binge for your weekly dose of streaming nonsense. Great, great, great. And Tallow, I saw your most recent email, like the one from a few days ago. Thank you. And I won't hold my breath, Tallow. But Tallow, you actually gave me quite a bit more information about the stuff we were talking about. So I think you probably wanted to keep it private, but yeah, I am gonna send you an email later on, just because the stuff that you told me about Goblin Slayer is pretty interesting. Because if you were, I think doing something like Goblin Slayer would be very viable. And it might be easier for you because at that point you could probably do something a little bit more manageable. Trip, I've gotten my child to an acceptable level, so I've started farming in preparation for Hu Tao. The amount of more needed for level just to level 6 is annoyingly high. I know, man. Like I'm looking at it here too, and I think I still need to. I need to get back above 1 million. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing here as well. I probably have to go make some resin as well. Yeah. Nah, there's just so much to do. I'm trying to get Beto going. Anime says, here's how you write romance. Have Naruto at least acknowledge Hinata's confession after the battle, not wait until the movie happens after the series finish. Yeah, like, legitimately that was very awkward. The good thing is that after the movie, the novels that come after it are pretty alright. They feel a little bit more reasonable. But yeah, man. Not having the guy communicate with her is definitely a big problem. And it's funny too, because I think Horikoshi might end up doing this with Ochako and Izuku. Like, he might prevent them from communicating, which limits any kind of progress, because I think he just doesn't want to deal with the progress. Having her go to sleep is the big indication that we might be seeing something similar to what Naruto did in that sense. Just because, yeah... Like, I think from their perspective, they just don't want to bog down the story with romance, because I think they misread that a good portion of the audience is interested in the romance. Skelly says, I don't care about the women, I just care about the character. Naruto spends half the series chasing after him. Very fair, very fair. Hey Kayla, let's see. I waste almost my orb on trying Halloween female green. Am I gonna save? Oh, I feel for you, John. Let's see. Kushina told Naruto to marry someone like her, which Sakura fits the bill, and they had to brainwash and make Naruto not understand his own feelings to justify Naruhina. Okay, Death Ray. Yeah, no. I don't like Sakura, so I'm very happy with Hinata. I really like the magic system in Reincarnated Assassin, although rip the economy of that world. Okay, you'll know what I mean when yeah. I've read the manga, but I don't recall anything about the economy, so I'll keep an eye out for that. First the trip, I must report I don't have too much to report on the idiotic fandom. There was only one thing that really stuck out these past few days. Oh, I would love to know. Redo Healer did an interview with Anime Man where he went into detail about only make because controversy sells. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That's pretty much like, that's an intelligent person right there. But he did an interview. Very interesting. Naruto should have married the priestess from the Naruto Shippuden movie. Essentially, the Melissa Steele of that world. I remember people talked a lot about that during back during that movie. Have you played any horror games before? Yeah, Robert. I played like Five Nights at Freddy one time. I don't like horror games. I'm not very good at it. Well, I'm very Oh, actually, I don't know. I don't think I'm very good at dealing with them. I don't like knowing I'm going to be scared. Honestly, in 2 to 3 chapters, I want to see Ochako and Bakugo talk to Izuku. Ochako didn't really have a conversation. She was too busy trying to get the crowd to accept Izuku. Yeah. I don't know, though. I don't know if that's going to happen, Kayla. Just... If the way the author can keep it from happening is that he just has the plot keep happening. Like, immediately after we finish up with Buddy Girl, we just go straight into everything sucks. And that way we'd never see Izuku and Ochako talk because it's too busy. Yeah. Probably playtime is only for the PC at the moment. It might get on console since it's getting popular now. Okay, I feel that Bakugo and Izuku need to set things straight with each other. I know the apology was significant, but I think there should be more to say. Kayla, I don't think the author's gonna dwell on it. I just don't see it in him. Like, I think we're at the point of it's time to stop. It's time to start dropping plot points. I think plot points are gonna fall away. I think character motivation is gonna be betrayed. I think we're at the point now that this is happening. Things are gonna be dropped unless he decides to expand. In which case, great. But I'm just thinking, like, the only other series I have in terms of comparison points within Shonen Jump are Bleach and Shokugeki no Soma, and those are both series that shouldn't be compared to the situation because they were innately different. Like, those series were cancelled. Hero Academia is going to end in a way on its own terms. That said, Horikoshi probably isn't going to space things out correctly. So, one thing you have to understand is when it comes to the ending of a series, even if you're ending it on your own terms, because of production stuff, you end up in a situation where when Hero Academia eventually ends, there needs to be a series that comes in to replace it. So when Hero Academia ends, it's very likely that within a week, you will have the next series coming in. And the reason that's important is just because Shonen Jump operates on a schedule, right? They're a business. They have their series scheduled ahead of time. I don't know how much notice a manga author is given, because there's been no real data to be able to decipher how much notice a manga author is given. But as far as we know, when they're going to end their series, they let the Shonen Jump editorial know, and then Shonen Jump editorial kind of works around it to try and set up new series right behind it. That's why when Red Hood dies, and when Neru dies, there's going to be 2 series popping up to replace them. Actually, let me just very quickly look at the data here about how this works. Right. So in Shonen Jump, a series ends and then a new one pops up the next week immediately. This tends to be the pattern. Now, the reason that's important is just to illustrate the fact that there is a pipeline here. And the reason that becomes important is dependent on how much notice the magazine has. If the author doesn't, let's assume it's 5. If the author knows he's 5 chapters away from the end, it's very likely he's not going to be able to fit everything he wants to fit in those last final chapters. In all my time in Shonen Jump, I've maybe only Assassination Classroom in recent history I've seen be a series that's actually able to end with covering all of its plot points. But most authors aren't able to actually wrap everything up within the amount of chapters that they ultimately agreed to. And that's like the trickiest thing. This happened a lot. Like, this was a real big issue with Bleach. A lot of plot points just kind of had to be dropped and had to be followed up in one of the novels or something. And then Shokugeki no Soma had that 3-chapter epilogue, which still implied that the author had no idea how to plan out a series. Because how can you be in a position where you get a 3-chapter epilogue at a later date in a different magazine or a different service, and you're still saying, I didn't have enough time to show the Irina and Soma wedding? It's like, come on. But yeah, no, man. Like, these guys are not good at planning out their series. So when it comes back to Hero Academia, when Hero Academia's... Actually, Hero Academia's final chapter might already be set. They might already be talking about it behind the scenes. But once that thing is set, we're probably going to see a lot of points be dropped, because that final date is going to really influence the author's development process here. It's going to be really interesting. Anyway, I went on a little sidebar there, but let me just very quickly go through. Beto was the first character I brought to Final Fantasy because I liked her design so much. I don't use her much now because I use facial very liberally. Okay, My Hero Academia movie 4, Izuku and Chako trying to confess each other. Oh god, no. Man, it's not like there's not Hunter with similar idea getting out there anyway. I'm cool sharing as long as you pay me royalties if you steal the idea. Well, Tallow, I gotta tell ya, like there's hundreds of people trying, but there's also like hundreds of people failing. You'd be surprised at how many people fail. They're not very good at it. But no, actually, Tallow, if you wanna play, I have no problem with you giving me the idea, and I'll ghostwrite it for you. And then I will totally do like a royalty split if you want to do a royalty split. I'm pretty sure I can make it work. As long as like you let me have artistic liberty if you want to do that, Tallow. At least that way you can put your name on something if you want to do that, just for the purposes of seeing it made. Okay, let's see. Ty says, I agree with Scale. If Sasuke or Naruto was a girl, everyone would ship it. The only thing that has really stuck out recently was a post someone made where they tried to argue that this whole Tamura fusing with Cop had always been clearly foreshadowed from the start of the series. Now that on its own wouldn't be anything, but it's the method in which they tried to argue it that's idiotic. I feel that. I think that's going to be one of the most annoying things, White Despair, is that people are going to be saying that they were right, even though they made up the most asinine reasons for why they were right. It's kind of like that video from Local Pineapple. Like, even if Aoyama is the traitor, like, this guy's reasoning did not line up. And hey, Jason, I was very interested in speaking with you, Jason, so give me a quick second to read through this. Saw a Twitter poll, domain expansion versus Bankai versus Mana Zone. And if you don't pick Bankai, you're just wrong. I mean, of those three, Bankai came first, but I don't know what happens when you look at the Chinese novels, because the Chinese novels do domains very early on. We'd also have to look at if there's any mythology that specifically talks about domains. Because that kind of would get ahead of Bankai. Jason asking, what's a Mana Zone? Really, Mana Zone shouldn't even be on this, if you're actually looking at it. Mana Zone shouldn't be on it at all. In order to prove they listed every single time Offront ever said anything, done anything, or been talked about. Once they maxed out the amount of stuff they could... God, where are you? They could fit into the post. They made a comment to their own posts that listed every vigilante that Offront said it. They then made a tweet that said it was obvious that this weird fusion thing was not only Offront's plan all along, but it was blatantly obvious to anyone who was reading, and anyone who said otherwise was in that. Okay, it was honestly baffling to see how they wrote so much yet never actually explained anything. They just listed off the chapters Offront appears and what he said. Then at the end of the chapter, that was clearly being foreshadowed. That's wonderful. What a wonderful time. It's like that'd be what forum is that on? I would love to read it later. And yeah, I read Dragon Ball Super today, random. So even when My Hero ends, will we get another school briefs or two? I think they should. Given that Naruto got a bunch of stuff, Bleach also got a bunch of stuff for their... Like, it had Can't Fear Your Own World and Death is Always Around Us. So they had two really good novel series afterward. So, and Hero Academia is profitable, so 100% they're going to put out extra material. Just because that's going to be profit. There's no reason to not put out extra material and get some profit. Let's see. So even when let's see. So what series do you think would replace My Hero on the channel with? Eventually, it'll have to happen. Probably going to put more of my attention on Chainsaw Man when it happens. Did you get Primos from Twitch yet? No, I don't think I have, Vance. But let's see. What series do you think would replace My Hero on the channel with? Do you think you would... I don't know. Maybe Yozakura Family, maybe. It'll be interesting. Maybe just go back to One Piece for a while. Or I guess Jujutsu Kai would also be in... I don't know, man. This is gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. I'm gonna have to like go look for a new love of my life. It's gonna be weird. It's kind of like, you know, you divorce one wife and then you have to go find another. Otherwise, you just kind of get looked at by your friends and just people pity you because you can't find someone to replace the good stuff that you had the first time. That's gonna suck. Talo says, there's a freaking Power Rangers Isekai manga. Oh my gosh. Yes, that sounds amazing. From my understanding, Hoipa has the actual ending done. Just the beats up to the ending has him. That's probably why he was able to estimate about 50. Even his editor said he was impressed with how much he already had planned out. No, I agree with you, man. And I think we talked about this last time. Like, the 50 chapter thing makes sense if you have things in bullet points, right? Because when you have bullet points, it's pretty easy. You have Izuku. Izuku meets Nagant. Nagant tells us her backstory. Her backstory involves just this quick little thing about the Public Safety Commission that I'm not going to really talk about too much because we have to keep the story going. So I'm going to cut out the fact that, you know, this one lady was actually a little bit more moderate than the one guy who was actually really corrupt. So we'll move past that. Then Nagant blows up. Izuku goes to All For One. All For One blows Izuku up, but except he fails. You know, like when you have the bullet points, you could see how we end up in 50 chapters. But then the expansion of things, so he's probably not counting in stuff like the fight scenes, the exact little maneuvers. I feel like he probably planned out the idea of Izuku moving things with Black Whip around in the smoke. Then there's the Shizaki stuff. Yeah, like again, when you look at it from the bullet point perspective, it really makes a lot of sense how he ends up at 50. It's unfortunate that he didn't expand just everything in between those points. But that's ultimately going to be the problem. If the final chapter number is set, and that's a deadline that he's working towards, he's going to cut away. The closer he gets to that deadline, he's going to cut away the extra little padding that makes the story stand on its own and like fleshes it out a little bit more. That's why extra dialogues with characters is one of the first thing that's probably going to get cut unless it's really important for the plot. So we kind of have to be watching out for that. I need triplets to be isekai to another world. I know there's twins being reincarnated to another world in a manhwa, but I just want to see triplets being isekai and reincarnated. Oh, that'd be interesting. Shonen Jump better replace Red Hood with another fantasy series? Probably. I downloaded an app called... basically helps you set up your idea before actually writing a story. Oh, that's cool, man. Personally, I think Lex is extremely overrated and a bad villain for Superman, but it makes sense since humans like to stroke their own egos. Okay, I think One For All be bodied by Lex or Joker by underestimating them for not having powers. I think Joker would be the one that really gets him. And I prefer Darkseid to Lex Luthor for Superman as well. It's on the Reddit. It's a post-made 8-hour title, a collection every time the story foreshadowed the end result of this identity crisis. Okay. That's going to be great. Thank you, White Dispel. I'll check it out. I need to finish the Deadpool Samurai manga where he starts his own Avengers in Japan. Needs to see that All Might vs. Thanos fight. Oh, okay, cool. The twin siblings' new life is freaking adorable. Oh, so a bunch of you are looking at twin siblings' new life. I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to check it out at some point. Also, I realized I also have to do the story for Genshin. So that's probably what I'll work on here. Oh, Talo, about Hero Academia. And, what? 1 second, guys. Are we connected? Oh, sorry, my stream just suddenly stopped. Sorry guys, I'm just checking yeah, okay, it lagged for a moment. Okay, cool. I'm just checking to make sure that everything's good on my side. Give me a quick second here, guys. It looks okay. It looks like we're still here. Sorry about that. I don't know what killed us. Anyway, Jason said, I think it's going to be longer than the estimate based on the comment after he made saying he was no longer sure about the length, but I don't think it's going to be too much longer, maybe double, like 100 or 75. I would agree. Like, I still think 400 to 500 chapters is the reasonable amount. But yeah, no, like once the deadline gets set, I do think we're going to be seeing rushing. I do think we're going to be seeing some hardcore rushing by the end of this. Oh, I checked out Oshinoko. My internet just cut out there for a second, but now it seems to be alright. Oh, okay. Anyway, Jason, like what you were saying yesterday, how you said that it's not just Horikoshi's product anymore. How you said it's like it's also the product of the community. Yeah, you know, I kept thinking about that the entire day here, just because I personally don't have that opinion. So I just want to let you know I found that really interesting. And if you have anything else you want to add, just to color that opinion a bit more, it's just like I find it in general very. Oh, hey Aki. Oh, that's really kind. 1 second, Jason. Do you think the last fight will be an actual quirk-based battle or a battle of who can punch harder? It's gonna go quirk-based battle, for spectacle, but then it's gonna devolve into who can punch who harder, and then it'll go into, at some point, there's gonna be like the inner vestige world struggle. Like we might move into inner vestige world by the end. Like honestly, look at how Naruto kind of did their stuff, and that's maybe what you're gonna see for Izuku versus something at the end. But there's going to be a quirk versus quirk battle for sure. We still need a big spectacle to bring out the second user's quirk as well. Anyway, back to Jason. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't share that opinion of a person's work becomes owned by the fans. I mean, like, I feel like it's a bit more nuanced, I feel. So if you want to talk about this a bit more, like, I would love to talk to you about it. Just I want to understand more of your opinion, like, to what degree, you know, I just want to understand more the idea of something is also owned by the people that engage in it. I'm having trouble, like, forming my question here, just because I don't know where to start on that one. Oh, Viz, give me a second here. I'm going to read your guys' comments, and then I'll do what you want there, Viz. Okay, let me just make sure I don't miss anyone. Let's say I answered Aki's. Hey, Chip, can I see how you built Hu Tao? Okay, so we'll do the Hu Tao. So my Hu Tao I don't think is fully... I don't think she's fully optimized. She's, like, serviceable. But I pretty much did HP. I use a team planner that's on Google Sheets that the Genshin community has. I also read a lot of what... No, that's not it. I read a lot of what like Hu Tao mains writes for her, or like any kind of main subreddit. Actually, Catching Mains tends to be the ones that has all the information. Let me just see very quickly what this girl is actually supposed to be built like. So my Hu Tao is focused on HP a lot, and I tried to give her the best stuff. Oh, I have a crit rate artifact on her. Great, so I have a crit rate on her. So I use Crimson Witch of Flames because that's the best set for Hu Tao right now. Got my pyro damage bonus. So HP all the way. If we look at the artifacts points, my max HP is there. My crit rate is not that great. Actually, it's kind of funny that I don't have any crit damage. I'll have to look into that. And then officially looking at the best notes for Hu Tao, it looks like... What are the notes for Hu Tao? Where are you, Hu Tao? So, Hu Tao's main stats should be HP percentage and elemental mastery, pyro damage, and crit rate or crit damage. So yeah, I'm more or less along with it. For substats, for substats, the crit stuff, and then elemental mastery and HP percent should be the top 3 that you're going for. I don't have Hu Tao and too much elemental mastery now that I'm looking at it. Like, what's her elemental mastery? Ah, plus 121. That's not too bad. Anyway, probably could make her a little bit more efficient. And then talent levels. So for the weapon, I just have her Dragon Bane. That's the only one that I have that I can actually use with her. And for talents, she was one of my main characters, so I just kind of went all the way with her. According to the team builder, you prioritize normal attack, skill, and then the burst. Don't know who that is. Let's see. Anyway, let me very quickly read Chris's stuff. Do you think there's a traitor from the latest Dr. Stone chapters, or do you think the lack of oxygen acts since they preparing just in case there's a traitor? I really do think it's the lack of oxygen. I just don't know what else it could have been. It is interesting that maybe you could delay it a long time. That sounds cool, but I really do think lack of oxygen. The author knows where the money is because even after this supposed 7 year, they barely grew any taller. Okay. Trip, can you refresh my memory since we were talking about character with multiple being? Did Taya choose to be with Yugi or the Pharaoh? Um, if I recall it, she was kind of wishy-washy on it. Even by the end of it, she was kind of wishy-washy. Like when I look at her and Yugi, it's kind of like Yugi's just what she ends up with, right? And she makes peace with that. One of the birds just fell off their perch. Jason said, the story is his. I hope he doesn't change the story to suit the fans, but tell the story he wants to tell. But it's the fans that supported him that allowed him to be able to tell that story. And I don't want him to shortchange us by rushing it because it became more overwhelming than he initially thought it would be. Be aware the villainous ended. Oh, that's too bad, Tallow. I mean, I agree. I agree with, like, I hope he doesn't change the story to suit the fans. Although we have seen that he has changed the story to, like, make things a little bit more enjoyable for the fans. He wants to tell the story he tells. It's fans that supported him that allowed him to be able to tell that story. I agree a lot as well. And I don't want to shortchange just by rushing it because it became overwhelming than he initially thought it would be. I think that's the part there, the short change. I mean, like, I know that there's definitely some creators that do not do something the proper justice it deserves, like the Game of Thrones fiasco. I know that there's some writers that do that. But I don't know. Like I feel like if Horikoshi's in distress and burned out, I think it's okay for him to end it on his terms. It's interesting too when you think about it, Jason, because Shonen Jump would have an interest in stretching Hero Academia out as much as they want to. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think if he shortchanges us, I don't know if we can really say that's purposeful. Like, I feel if Hero Academia comes to a point of shortchanging or just doesn't live up to expectations, I feel like that's more an issue of he didn't have the ability to sustain the story. That's what it kind of feels like more to me instead of a malicious intention kind of thing, right? Like I don't want to prescribe malice to him. Like what could legitimately be just letting a story get out of control. I mean, and to be fair, I do feel like scope creep happens a lot in stories, and I feel like stories get a little bit too wide when it comes to manga, and a lot of times I don't think writers can sustain their stories at those higher levels. I mean, I think that's just a natural downside of like escalation that happens in Shonen Jump in particular. But yeah. Okay, thank you for that, Jason. I really hope we don't get a Demon Slayer Muzen level metaphoric scene where Shigaraki is being pulled by Izuku's hand, with All For One crying out to Shigaraki to not leave him. Yo, Sarge, like actually, we might see something like that, man. I mean, you already have like, okay, first off, Horikoshi loves drawing hands, and we already have like All For One just grabbing Shigaraki's face all the time. I feel like when you have Izuku pulling Shigaraki out, you're 100% gonna have All For One grabbing him. I think that's pretty much clear it's gonna happen. Let's see. Banished from the Heroes Party feels a bit like they're skimming through things. Oh, I haven't seen the recent 2 episodes. I've read the manga though. I'm expecting All For One to turn into a literal monster by the end, since a lot of series go that route to detach us from the final villain before the defeat. Yeah. Like, All For One is not the guy that's going to be... Like, All For One's going to be made to be a giant caricature by the end of it. Boot out HP or attack sands, Pyro Cup, crit rate damage, crown depending on the subset of your weapon. Cool. Oh, hey Gohan. 3 words, Power Ranger Isekai. Oh, you guys are fun. I had a lovely... was the author of the post about how he wasn't actually making it. Once I managed to get him caught in a contradiction, he suddenly stopped replying. Taya chose America. Yugi chose his passion. Oh, great. A little transfer to the Power Ranger world because I'm sure they're a magical girl isekai. Let's see. Any other things? Oh, Gohan, Talo was telling us about a Power Ranger isekai. Thanks, guys. Sort of remember now. Let's see. A Power Ranger gets isekai to a. I actually don't. I didn't remember this America thing. Like, what was it? Like, Teo wanted to be a dancer or something like that. Hu Tao's installed weapon is the Staff of Homa, Primordial Jade, Deathmatch, Dragon's Bane, and Black Tassel in that order. Premium to free to play. Oh, good. I'm in Dragon's Bane. They eventually were only able to claim that All for One needed to make Tamura become his own, because if he didn't, then Tamura would try to become his own person. Once I caught them in that contradiction, they went from taking 2 minutes to reply to not having reply. I guess I won the debate. Yeah, you definitely did, man. That must have felt good. Alright, I see. I saw something that says she is good on her as well, and I have potential pieces. I'm planning on buying Blackcliff weapon in Paimon's shop next month, since it was a really good main stand and passive. The Reminiscence. Yeah, that Reminiscence is like her second best artifact set. Let's see. Like the notes for that artifact set for Shimenawa's Reminiscence. It provides a higher AA damage than Crimson Witch of Flame, but lowers elemental burst damage, which hurts your AoE. Also, if you're unable to burst, it might cause survivability issues if you're not running a healer. So that one's kind of dependent on your on what else you have on your party. It's going to be hard following a monthly series from the beginning to the end once the new manga from the Fullmetal Alchemist person drops. Okay. Yeah, so it's still weird that 4Kids cut out the scene where Yugi talked to his mom before Battle City tournament. Huh. Wow, honest trip. When My Hero Academia, do whatever series you have fun making. If you're not going to end up like some soulless Naruto YouTube is covering Boruto just for money. It's okay. I used to do Naruto when it was still running, and then Boruto happened. It's like, I'm not covering this. Like, this isn't that good. I think like Boruto was like enjoyable, but I can't talk about it that much. But thanks, Aki. Yeah, I don't know. Ideally, there'll be another big shonen series. Yozakura Family, I actually really do enjoy, but we'll have to see. I have another year of Hero Academia at least. I might have to just go straight into just the isekais and just stay there. Ideally, by that time, I might have more books out as well, so maybe I can talk more about books in general. Mangas always seem to have fairly poor endings from the few I've finished. Yeah, like, it's just an issue of scope creep. Like, the other thing you have to keep in mind is for the popular manga, a lot of those mangas don't finish by their own accord. They're canceled. Or they're given like a soft, you're gonna end the manga date, and then that's where things usually fall apart. Like if you look at Assassination Classroom has a really great ending. He should take a long hiatus to come back. I'd rather him do that. I consider that maybe he's reached his right, but taking a step back and brainstorming could allow him to find his way again. The current pace of the series is questionable. I wonder if he really created Fajin just so that he didn't have to train Izuku to 100% naturally. That feels like a narrative shortcut. I mean, yeah, that's an interesting observation, because Fajin, what it does for Izuku is that it lets him be at 100% without actually being at 100%. It's cheap. It is legitimately cheap and kind of curious. Ideally, he would be at 100% by the time the final fight happens, but with the way the timeline works out right now, it's like, does that really make sense? Now, as for the hiatus approach, that's really interesting. That's a really interesting approach there, Jason. I know that there have been cases where people have taken a break before the final arc starts. I don't know if Kubo did that. I feel like he might have, but I don't really recall that time period. I know when Naruto Part 2 was coming, Kishimoto took a pretty big break, and when Oda's New World Saga was coming, he also took a pretty big break. Interesting. You know what? I can't say anything against that from the perspective of a good idea. I can only say that maybe Shonen Jump might not like it, but even then, Shonen Jump at this point wants to make money, so there wouldn't be anything wrong with indulging Horikoshi at that point, especially like given the guy's bad health, or not bad health, but you know, all the breaks that he's been taking recently. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you know, that's a very pragmatic and reasonable. That would be very pragmatic and reasonable. Like right now, I'm finishing up like for my test series on Amazon, I'm finishing up like volume 5, and I'm taking a smaller break at volume 4 just to give myself more time to plan out another arc here. And yeah, no, like a short hiatus I feel it's also a reasonable thing to do. Like, you know, I'm gonna end up doing it as well. Yeah, yeah. The only difference here with Horikoshi is really the issue that he is on Shonen Jump's schedule. But even Shonen Jump, I don't see any reason why they couldn't do that. Good point, Jason. The one, let's see, can't go wrong with villain stories. I just don't like dumb female main characters. I'm still not over the Emperor's Lap. This one manga though annoyed me today. Literally everyone in the manga gets adult affection tag except the MC. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yu-Gi-Oh! Throughout the years wasn't good with romance. Look at Jaden and Alexis. Yeah, I was pretty salty about that one. But Yusei and Aki was alright because at the end it was implied. And like Skelly knows, when it comes to Arc 5, yeah, Arc 5 was pretty interesting in its manga ending because there was a lot of love going around in Arc 5's manga ending. Anyway, it's a big disgrace writing by, let's see, All for One crying would be a joy to witness. He's always smug. Judai literally mind melded with his wife. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yubel was a thing for Jaden, and though they did have a really interesting relationship. Actually, yeah, that was a pretty good one. I was sad for Alexis, but Jaden and then Yubel was pretty cool. Oh yeah, I heard about the Power Ranger Isekai thing. No, Alexis was a wonderful waifu. Nah. Yubel was interesting, man. Like Yubel was like a nice level of uncomfortable, and also like this is really interesting. Yeah, no, actually, Skelly pointed out like Yubel was this guy's long lost love from whatever he was, like some kind of supreme king or whatever. Yeah, that's he will never be alone ever again. He fused with that woman. Or what was she? Was she a hermaphrodite? Because she had like the one male part and then the one female part. Yeah, you know what? Yubel was just Yubel. Like that was probably actually one of the most progressive things that they could have done with that Yu-Gi-Oh series. Again, I feel bad for Alexis, but Yubel, yeah, Yubel. That was good. Let's see. The XYZ main character got together with his waifu, but the cat girl was better. I prefer the cold, intelligent FMC who break everyone around her before building up her life. How about Yushi and Akiza was something that should have happened in Yu-Gi-Oh but never happened before. Oh, Yusei and Akiza, yeah. Yeah, no, I think like they were pretty much implied. Arc 5 has to split up the main character and love interest because otherwise the rating is AO. Oh, man. I don't know what's happening with the two newest series. Vrains? I don't think Vrains had anything conclusive. I think there was more relationship between the main character and the final villain. Yeah, I don't think there was... I don't know about Vrains. For Sevens, I think Sevens is too young. I remember from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's the MC and the love interest was teased for nothing. Nah. At the end, it seemed like they had a little moment. At the end. Yeah, that's all I can really remember. My favorite Power Rangers villain is Jared. See, yeah, it did feel pretty good to win the argument. Unlike you, Trip, they were not very good at having a debate. Well, White Despair, you know, I respect your debate prowess. I can't wait to find your conversation with that person on that thing. I mean, honestly, like, listing out every single moment that All For One's ever spoken, honestly, I appreciate that, because that's pretty nice to go and look. But the problem with listing out every of the All For One moments, or there are some legitimate contradictions that are in the All For One moments, that, and as people know here, White Despair has pointed them out. It's just, now we can actually make a lot more fun of All For One, because it's just, this thing with All For One becomes really asinine and really contrived, because it's just an issue of, your entire plan was to fuse with this kid. So, what exactly was your plan when you were telling him he can fail as much as he wants? Like, you quite literally went from saying that to half a year later being like, oh yeah, fusion baby. It's just, it doesn't, like, there are things that White Despair has pointed out that legitimately are just kind of asinine when you take it all into consideration. And the care that was being put on Shigaraki at the beginning, like, mind you, from the beginning, there are words that All For One says that are questionable, but then there's like the moment like with Best Genius where he says that this quirk wouldn't suit Shigaraki, and it's like, okay, so it wouldn't suit him for all of 6 months. And even then, why not just take the quirk for yourself? Mind you, if he himself can't use quirks that require a lot of training, that's a different conversation altogether. Um, but yeah, you know what? It might be that the author wasn't being very careful at some points. It might be that at some parts in the early segment, he just had to write things to make it look like All for One was more supportive of Shigaraki, and then it just doesn't make sense in context when he's now revealing all of All for One's master plans. Um, yeah, you know what? This might be actually like a product of you're revealing your character's ideas here to like make him seem like he's this big bad character, and now that's conflicting with the previous characterization when things were going a little bit slower. I mean, that does happen. Sometimes you have a situation where some villains don't live up to the hype, or in creating a lot of hype, they end up kind of going over some of the things that they said before. And I mean, mind you, like right now, All for One, I don't think he's reasonable to listen to, just because like he's having contradictions, very very literally, like within a page of each other. Let's see. Oh, no Hero Academia man, Mr. Amon. Wait for real, 100% Fajin, but Fajin 100%. Anyway, ending stuff depends on the type of manga you read. Grumman from SPD was smarter than most other villains. My favorite Power Rangers villains are messed up, Zed and Decker. I don't have favorite Power Ranger villains. Black Horse are coming out. All I can say is Xeno is just tired of Yuno at this point. Excellent. Manga that are based off of usually end well with the source material, but the manga don't always reach the ending. If I recall, didn't take any real from outside of the tree collapsing. They won't cancel him since the manga is over 50 million worldwide and the most popular series in North America right now. I think Cody doesn't understand the type of control he has right now, being the typical humble Japanese working man. I would agree with you. Like, there's only one author. Actually, there are two authors that I feel understand how much power they have in negotiation. Actually, maybe three. Maybe Oda also understands how much power. But, like, of the authors that I've seen that I understand have a lot of power negotiating with the editors and the magazine that they're in, it's the Negima author, because that guy is just full on. And then Hiro Mashima for Fairy Tail. Because Hiro Mashima understands how much power this guy... He understands how much power he has with the way he deals with things. And then, yeah, the Negima author is just so irreverent. And thanks, man. Thanks. Kubo didn't take any real breaks from Bleach outside of literally collapsing. Yeah, thanks, Jason. I wasn't too sure about that one, so thank you. Psycho Rangers are pretty good, too. Love fact, especially an 11-year-old sneaking and reading the mature. Okay. Let's see. But I agree, they're not going to cancel him. But he does have more pull. Fanfic is just fantasy stuff. Many of them can be bad, especially when the author changed the personality of characters. Closest romance in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was Arc 5 followed by 5Ds. Hate 5Ds for the passion. I like 5Ds for the first half, and then the second half with that big tournament, didn't really care for it. All for One crying would be quite the accomplishment for someone who didn't have eyes. Arc 5 completely retconned the story. Nah, Jaden and Alexis should have happened. Shame on the author. Actually, it's not on him, Gohan. That's on the anime. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Author's stuff and the anime are separate productions. That's why you end up with like the manga equivalents having like wildly different endings. Jaden always came across as asexual to me. Yeah, Tal, like towards the end, he definitely, like season 4 Dark Jaden. Yeah, they're hermaphrodite. Also, Jaden's pretty gay. Skelly says, thought Yubel was a card that Jaden used to own, but Jaden used her as some sort of program. No, there's like a lot of complication that's going on with Yubel. So, okay, and now we're going to go into a really interesting territory because now we're going to talk about my memories of it. Yubel and Jaden were in a past life as two friends who they might have both been boys. I don't really fully remember. Anyway, in that past life, Jaden was like this really hardcore, like supreme emperor type dude, and he was really evil. And then for whatever reason, he relapses during the season where like the people from other dual academies show up. There's even the Australian with a crocodile on his back. Anyway, Jaden, when he was a boy, he won a contest with Kaiba Corp, and he got to like send a bunch of cards that he designed himself and he forgot about into space. Now these cards went up into space, and Yubel, I think he drew her again, and like that when he drew her, he was tapping into like the spirit of like that friend, I think, and then he sent it up into space, and the cards got super powered because they came back as Neospatians or whatever, and Yubel got tainted by the light of destruction or some other kind of alien. And then Yubel comes back and she's just crazy because she really misses Jaden. And then in the big climax, Jaden's just like, all right, I get it. You just really want to be with me. So I'm going to fuse our souls together. And that's how you have the ultimate love story that honestly transcends generations and most likely biology. I think that's correct. I think I remembered it. I mean, it's been like 20 years. Has it been 20 years? 15 years. It's been 15 years. From the last Finera World, I mean, Horikoshi has made a comment about apologize for all the breaks lately. Hope he is in a bad health. Oh yeah, no, that was in the like in Shonen Jump. He just apologized for it. I mean, whatever. As long as he's all right. Rearrange cut out too much story. Let's see. He probably is sick. The last 3 chapters are about 15 pages in length. Playmaker and Ignis. Ah, yeah, Playmaker and Ignis. I think Jack and Carly were initially really nice together before the anime decided to act like nothing ever happened between them. Shame about all that cult stuff with the Carly's VA. Oh, I think I remember that. But yeah, man, I really liked Carly and Jack. I thought they were cute. Ultimate all-for-one contradiction. Black belt with brown shoes. Anyway, anyone need manga suggestions? I don't need anyone right now. The Ranger Isekai is called The Red Ranger Becomes an Adventurer in Another World. Oh, that's interesting. When he calls the Megazord to fight the hero, it's epic. Also, there's going to be codes distributed in GameStop in Canada and US for Shiny. Oh, yeah, I saw that on Cerebi. Will you review Isekai OG when it comes out? Never felt so bad for harem girls. Probably. It's an Isekai. I don't know if I'll do it week to week, though, because right now I'm, like, swamped. Well, we're on the topic of ships. Can I talk about my hatred for Alphonse X May? You could. I don't really know that much about the Full Metal ships because I got a little bit before my time, so I don't have a investment in it. Death Ray. In my opinion, Vic Mignogna is not a good voice actor. He only had 2 sets of voice, unlike Grey Griffin, who can do many voice. I don't really care about voice actors. The latest manga chapters for Wise Man pretty much showed the ultimate magician of skill, but when it comes down to it, they depend too much on Shin to get the win. Arc 5 dragged too much for the Synchro Dimension arc. Agreed. Yeah, Hiro Mashima is something else. I remember multiple times during the final arc he would release 2 chapters in a single week. I know, right? Like, the man's a workaholic. And he was also doing Fairy Tail Magazine and, like, all the other spin-offs, man. Like, if the... Look. Honestly, Hiro Mashima is, like, one of the most successful manga authors. I was thinking about it today, but honestly, Hiro Mashima has done things that the majority of the manga authors in Japan have been unable to do, including Kishimoto. And what Hiro Mashima has done is that he has brought 3 of his main flagship series to anime productions. Rave Master, Fairy Tail, and Eden Zero. Fairy Tail became so big it got its own magazine. And then Eden Zero, we're seeing it right now. Like, Mashima has an accolade that not many other people can actually compete with. And that is the culmination, like, bringing to fruition all of his series that matter, specifically in this case, the Rave Master, Fairy Tail, and Eden Zero. Like some other authors, they'll be able to get like maybe their 1 series done, and then they'll be able to get some of their 2nd series done as an anime. Like Nagima's author is a good example. Like I think he got Love Hina to completion, and I think he got... No, Nagima's production was always terrible, so Nagima didn't get to completion. But Hiro Mashima, nah, man, that guy just destroys. Nah, he, like, in terms of a workforce, he's pretty good. I'm trying to think, because I was thinking about it today because Kishimoto has only really brought Naruto to completion, and then he failed epically on God, what was that thing called? Samurai 8, right? Like, the thing with Kishimoto is that he got used to late game storytelling, and that's where Mashima really beats him. Mashima fundamentally understands what it means to start a story over from scratch. So with Kishimoto, he got used to Naruto level storytelling at the end, where you're bringing in all these different concepts. And then we talked about this before, but he brought too much jargon at the beginning of his next series, Samurai 8, and that's ultimately what brought down Samurai 8. You can't start series like that. And the reason I was thinking about it too is because Red Hood recently, or, you know, like Red Hood, as Jason told us yesterday, it's very likely it's going to end. I mean, it's very likely it's going to end because it's been at the bottom of the series for a while. But Red Hood borrows too much stylings from late game Hero Academia, and late game Hero Academia's stylings are horrible. So it's always good to see, like, there is a general idea about how to start a series to give yourself the best odds of surviving. But yeah, It's just cool. It's just cool to think about. Hiro Mashima has done something that not many other people can say they've done. I think half the series is in that dimension. Agreed. GX story is so bad, which is saying a lot since Yu-Gi-Oh storytelling is pretty questionable at times. Yeah, I think like I think I was still pretty happy with season 2, but then like when you get to going into that other dimension, like things just spiral out of control so quickly. I love that one is commenting during this entire rant. Jaden forgot because his parents used shock therapy to make him forget about his childhood due to Yubel. Ah, excellent. Manga Yu-Gi-Oh story, great anime Yu-Gi-Oh story. He sent her to get help because she sent someone she dueled into a coma. Oh, you know what? I'm remembering this. Also, to remind me of the time I got a coworker who wouldn't shut up about music by going non-stop on Yu-Gi-Oh monster descriptions. That's nice. Opinion on Snide. Snide? Who's Snide? For Shonen, Yu Yu Hakusho did romance the best because they were always together throughout the series, but not official. Oh, okay. Hiro Mashima is a cyborg. He's not normal. Samurai 8. I think most series tease too much, and the payoff rarely feels earned. Says Aki. Anamima says, I almost got it right. Ah, oh, damn it. Just the Yubel's fate part is kind of wrong. Jaden's dad got the Yubel card for him as a gift, and Yubel cursed anyone that got between her and Jaden. When Jaden won the design contest to send his cards to space, Capricorp was asked to send Yubel in another rocket. Oh, okay. Okay. No, I think the light did affect her. But okay, yeah, I completely forgot that part. Oh, that was good. Okay, GX is the best Yu-Gi-Oh series, followed by Zeal. Arc 5 had the potential to be the best with different dimensions and New Supreme Kim, but fumbled the bag later on in the story. My personal favorite is GX. I do really enjoy GX because I like Jaden a lot. I do think it's messy though. Jaden was hypnotized forget because he kept having nightmares. Oh, okay. Oh, I was so close. Yeah, Kage-sama season 3 announced. Oh, that's cool. Extremely low expectations for Mob Psycho season 3. It has a new director and Bose is pretty washed up studio at the moment when it comes to the series. Or when it comes to series, okay. With aspect of stories, it's why I usually stick to isekai true hammer stuff. Even pure romance genre stories, I've been pretty burned badly in the past. Well, the problem with romance is that romance tends to become too melodramatic, and it becomes like too much of a... It becomes too much just... Like, the beginnings are usually good, but then the middles are usually just so stretched out and just a lot of layers of complication. Like, I remember I tried reading a shoujo once, and, like, by chapter 50, people were jumping into the past, and there was, like, all kinds of weird, like, near misses. Like, the two main characters just could never line up in their timelines correctly. And it just becomes a mess. Like, I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather just conciseness, but yeah, that's how like romances do. And then you had Domestic Girlfriend, which is a great example of people just going back and forth without any real idea. Most soap opera shoujo that we've seen in a while. Knowing what's crazy, the creator apparel created Elfen Lied. Talk about doing different genres. Wish Elfen Lied gets an anime remake. Yeah, there are just certain rights that, while effective once the series has been going for a while, are absolutely horrible for early parts of a series. Agreed. Snide is from Power Rangers. Ah, no, I don't got any good ideas, Robert. Sorry. Like my Power Rangers, I only really ever remember the heroes. I don't really remember the villains. But if anyone else has opinions on Snide, please answer for Robert, because I can't answer that one. But yeah. Honestly though, like, if you were going to go to Shonen Jump, I've been saying this for a while, but you really shouldn't be doing fantasy series on Shonen Jump. And it's just an issue of odds. Like, from what we've seen, the only fantasy series that has done really, really well in Shonen Jump has been Black Clover. Like, in terms of a full-on world fantasy. And Black Clover did that against incredible odds. Like, really, you shouldn't be doing fantasy series. If you want to do fantasy, you really should go to the magazine that runs Fairy Tail and Seven Deadly Sins, because at least they are a little bit more lenient. But we're probably going to see a few more fantasy series come up, because Shonen Jump probably still wants to try them. It might be possible that Shonen Jump's formula just doesn't work for hardcore fantasy, for whatever reason. It's just odd. Like, when you look at the statistics on it, you don't have good odds if you're doing fantasy on Shonen. Again, on Shonen Jump. Shonen Magazine's a different beast altogether. Are shoujo anime manga even popular? The shoujo anime that I want to be continued is Yona of the Dawn. Yeah, I think they're popular. They're probably popular. I mean, like, we have shoujo anime still coming out, right? They're probably really popular. I mean, like, this is an area I'm not too sure of, so this is one of those things where I have to kind of listen to what you guys have to say about it. Oh, Dino Charge. Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't watch Dino Charge. My last Dino Power Rangers was, I'm pretty sure it was Dino Thunder. And Dino Thunder is amazing. Not just because Skelly is in an episode of Dino Thunder, but actually no, it's partly because Skelly's in an episode of Dino Thunder as an extra. If I'm recalling the story correctly, Skelly. I think I'm recalling the story correctly. There's a light in the distance. You see it coming closer. Oh man, I love that song. Some of the Power Ranger songs are just the best. Oh, Poison. I just realized that was you that was talking. Hey, Poison. And I like that I was able to catch up to... I like that I was able to catch up to the end of the comments. And yeah, okay, good. Ah, great. I'm glad that I got that little bit of your story correct, Skell. But yeah, Dino Thunder was like my last real Dino-based Power Rangers, and it's probably the one I'm going to like the most. I really like seeing, God, Tommy's actor. What's his name? Jason Frank, I think his name is. I really liked seeing him come back for that series. And in general, I like seeing Tommy like whenever he pops up for Power Rangers. I like that level of continuity. And I like that Dino Thunder tried to bring significance to the fact that there were a lot of dinosaur Power Rangers. I think one of my favorite episodes from Dino Thunder is when they were doing the recap of all the other Power Ranger series. Also, Death Ray liked SPD, Emergency, and Samurai. Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, but like Time Force, Mystic Force, Dino Thunder, they're probably my top 3. I like how Nagima went from school, slice life to battle series, and finally Isekai. Never seen a manga author with such control. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, Ty. Like I've already sung the praises of this man like 100 times over. But yeah, the guy's smart. The guy's smart, and I know he's the only manga author that I know actually stopped producing the manga to protest the government, which not many others do. But this guy, he had the balls to do it. I don't remember what exactly he was protesting though. I think it was something about copyright or something like that. There was something he was protesting. Oh, let's see. Who would you say is a better villain between Vrak and him? Okay, he's asking Talowolf. So let's see. Jason asks, in my idea of the ending of My Hero Academia, when the vestiges explode to stop All for One, does Izuku lose the other quirks when the vestiges go as well? In fact, does that self-destruct destroy One for All and All for One? I mean, I've thought about it. It really depends on what the author wants to do immediately after. If he wants Izuku to be relevant, I feel like the compromise would be let Izuku keep super strength and then maybe let all the other quirks go away with the vestiges self-destructing. If you want to be super wish fulfilling, I think let Izuku keep all the quirks, just strip the consciousness away from them. If you want to make like some big statement about heroics, then take away all the quirks from Izuku when you self-destruct the vestiges. It's just, I'm not sure, like, I think that would be a little bit too depressing, and I don't know how many series actually are good at keeping a character powered down. Yeah, I feel the happy medium that I'm kind of hoping for is that Izuku keeps super strength and everything else goes away. I think that would be fair. I mean, like, you'd have to do a lot to justify why exactly that goes down that particular direction. But just say something about quirk singularity as the excuse, and I think it'll be fine. But yeah, Jason, that's kind of where I would lean towards. I guess my final answer is I would hope that he keeps the super strength, but everything else can go away. Hey, Terry. No, we're just talking. I'm more into the OG Power Rangers series than later ones. Let's see. Would it be too much or more evening for Star to give her quirk to Izuku to make him more on Shigaraki's level? I don't think Izuku needs the quirk, honestly, at this point. I don't think he needs it. If Izuku gets a reality warping quirk, like, honestly, no one should have it. That's just the thing. No one should have the quirk because it's gonna trivialize a lot of things. And Izuku's a smart character. So if Izuku gets it, we are 100% going to be questioning, oh, hey, Izuku, why aren't you doing this to the environment so that you can take out Shigaraki like this? Right? I just don't think we should... I don't think any of us should be touching that quirk with the idea of, oh, let's give it to Izuku or Shigaraki, just because I think that's going to make everyone look really, really stupid in terms of the characters when they don't do the most optimal things with the quirk. Like right now for Star and Stripe, the reason that she's able to get away with using the quirk is because she doesn't know the extent of Shigaraki's regeneration. So she's still fighting on incomplete information. That's not going to be the same case for Izuku, because Izuku's going to have a little bit more experience with Shigaraki, and he has a little bit more of a tactical mindset, which would make it a little bit harder. Yeah, I just don't think he should get the quirk. I really like. I think this quirk is just dangerous for the story. It really shouldn't be anywhere near here. Yeah, I just don't think it should be anywhere near here, man. Like, keep it out of us. Yeah, Dino Thunder has my favorite opening, has the best recap episode. Lost Galaxy. Oh yeah, Lost Galaxy. Yeah, Magna Defender was best character. His death was tragic. Agreed. What's everyone's thoughts on the latest Fire Force chapters and seeing him remove her crown? I thought she was really pretty. I really thought I was gonna see like sunken in eyes, but she's really pretty. I thought it was interesting, like super metaphysical. Vrak had the most interesting look and reminded me of Grum with his bait and switch tactics, but Megaforce was such a colossal card grasp I blocked most of it. Oh, that's hilarious, Tallow. Let's see, plus Starship Trooper costumes. You know who's a smart character and can use Star and Stripe quirk? Mineta. Okay, Deku doesn't. New Order. All for One. One for All is already the strongest quirk in the series. Even with reality warping, Star couldn't make herself as strong as All Might. That's how strong One for All is. And I still think that's ridiculous. Like I want to know what the limitation is, because like All Might's strength is just on paper, apparently, the strength of 8 people put together, and Star wasn't able to replicate that. Like that's kind of silly. That is legitimately silly. Like what are the limits to this quirk, right? That quirk is such a slave to the plot that it won't be allowed to do anything cool when if Izuku were to get it, or if Shigaraki were to get it. It's just not worth it, man. It's not worth entertaining the thought. But if the author does it, that's gonna be really interesting. I can't wait for the bucket of worms that's gonna open. Alright, I guess it's can of worms, right? Can of worms is the phrase. Can of worms. Yeah, bucket of worms is better. No, because bucket of worms is like significantly more worse. Unless you're fishing, in which case bucket of worms is probably better for you. Anyway, Star and Stripe. I remember NetherRealm face was ugly until Injustice 2 and Mortal Kombat 11 fixed that problem. Let's see. Star and Stripe quirk needs to be wiped from the face of the earth. Too many questionable moments would come up. Yeah, no, fully agreed. If anyone gets the quirk, we better hope it's All for One. It would be harmless in his hands since he's so stupid. Yes, actually, like, we might just see how bad All for One is at using quirks when if he was to get it. I think Mashima will have Rebecca teleport to a timeline very different from the one we're currently in. That's the thing some fans won't like he's doing at the end of this arc. Wait, Death Ray, didn't you say she wasn't going to be using Cat Leaper? I thought you were on the side that she wasn't using Cat Leaper. What about if Izuku only keeps base 1 for all? Oh, if he keeps base 1 for all. Oh, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. So he doesn't keep the super strength, but he keeps the capability of 1 for all. Oh, yeah, you know what? Actually, that's probably the most legal thing you could do. That sounds pretty good. Star and Stripe reality bending, quirk is strong, but even if wielded by Prime, All for One couldn't stop the OTP of Mineta Momo. Terry, I respect how hard you spew that propaganda, man. I respect that. Yeah, Terry, yeah. I honestly barely watched much of Dino Charge, but I've done research on characters like Snide. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm really surprised people can remember some of those Power Ranger villains. It's pretty much saying that 1 for All is a normal quirk, and that type of strength is beyond reality warping for any one person. Remember, 1 for All can lift buildings with air pressure. You know what? Like, honestly, I forgot that, Jason. Thank you. Truth isn't propaganda. Ah, that's a good one, Terry. That's a good one. That's a good one. And even White Despair is moved by your morals and integrity. Yeah, like, even in the face of incredible odds, Terry still keeps his hope alive. Man, how inspiring. Any anime for Win 22 caught your attention for Trip and everyone? I know Gohan has a few that he wants to see for 2022. I can check the listings in a bit. Come on, let's just get the commissions done. Okay. Yeah, I've never seen such dedication in my life. Let's see. Gotta find where I was in the comments. Oh, it'll be hilarious if your joke about All For One is doing all this for the attention of a female villain. What type would it? What would his type be? Yo, no man, his type has to be like a totally dominant woman, right? It has to be a woman that talks down to him. Oh, you know what? I really hope it's not like the kind old girl that's always making bread at the bakery, and she one time gave All For One bread. Oh, actually, okay. I got one. What if, when All For One was the biggest loser in the world, right? This one girl, she worked at a bakery, right? And she just gave All For One a piece of bread when he was having a really bad day. And on that day, he kind of just fell in love with her, and he would try to get her attention, but she was like, "Oh no, it's okay. You know, I just gave you a piece of bread, right?" But you know, All For One is like one of those guys, right? That he just couldn't take no for an answer. And so he kept bothering her, and then quirk phenomena happens, and he has this power, and he's thinking like, oh my god, I am now the big man on top. Let me get this girl. But she's like, oh yeah, well thanks for saving me, but you know, I'm not into it. So yeah. And then All For One like gets really salty. Like, you know how bad he reacted when his brother said he didn't like agree with his methods? How All For One pretty much shoved a quirk down his brother's throat or something like that. So All For One, being the genius that he is, he gets really annoyed with this girl, and he gives her, or maybe she already has a quirk, but he gives her like a eternal life quirk, and just forces her to be alive until the day that he can finally get in a relationship with her, because that's the kind of guy he is. He's not going to let her die until he gets the opportunity to like really fall in love with her, or for her to see the way. And then yeah, now we're at this point where there's somewhere in the world there's this one girl who just doesn't care about how many quirks All For One gets, and All For One still can't get that through his head, and he still keeps trying to impress her. And that's what this is. Oh, and you know what? For extra points, the girl was in love with his brother. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's a good one. It's all that girl in the bakery. This all started because of a girl in the bakery, and All For One's inability to take no for an answer. I do feel like, you know, joke aside, All For One's inability to take no for an answer is probably going to factor into a critical part of his personality at the end of all of this. Probably. Just from what we've seen so far. Like, this man really does not do well with rejection as far as we have seen. Other than that, though, like, if All For One was interested in a female villain, I hope she would like be like a total dominant lady. Like, she doesn't care about him. It'd be the same thing of she doesn't care about how many quirks All For One gets. If there was a lady involved. Oh man, Horikoshi. It'd be hilarious if he actually just says it's a girl. A girl's behind everything. Much like how in Naruto, a woman was ultimately behind everything. Alright, that was a nice little side trip. That was pretty funny. Alright, the more I reflect on it, I don't see how they can stop Zeke without plot armor. But he already said he's doing something he's never done before in the arc to change the story, so I'm theorizing. Oh no, man, like, they're gonna stop Ziggy by just cat leaping, right? That's the way to do it. And maybe cat leaping with everyone else, so that a lot of people keep their memories. Any thoughts on new Lobo growing from old Lobo finger in Young Justice Season 3? Isn't that just normal for Lobo? Thanks, Trip. Anyway, you guys could get it. Never change Terry. Yeah, there's also more episodes of Real and Moonlit Fantasy. Terry is like an immovable object when it comes to that ship. Yes, he is. One for All isn't just raw strength. With one flick of a finger, Izuku could cause the tornado to form. Yes. That's pretty based. Izuku got a warning when Shigi woke up. Said a Transcendent one was coming. Shouldn't he have gotten another warning again? Also, One for All is probably a transcended quirk like All for One. Man, it's just like I don't understand what it means to be transcended, right? Like, Shigaraki ends up being like this mutant that's created through science as well, right? Shigaraki's created through science. It's just so interesting. And it's interesting too that One for All is a transcended quirk only by the intervention of All for One. Yeah. Skelly says he just retires and marries the great-great-granddaughter of the bakery girl. Oh, that'd be good too. I can no longer have a baker for a waifu since I'm on the low carb. Oh no, Talo, that's unfortunate. Think multidimensional being like Bleach. That's why even though New Order is so great, it still can't match All for One or One for All. Oh man, what if they are the singularity themselves? But that's Jason. I feel like that's like that scope is too big. Like I feel resistant. I don't want to think about it. It's so much. A good point though. Izuku should be getting warnings. Like the moment that Shigaraki's active, he should be thinking like, "Oh shit, something's going on somewhere in the world. Oh, this is really terrible." Because like, All for One was able to hear when Yoichi woke up pretty much in Izuku's body. Like he was able to hear like, "I hear my brother's voice again." Blah blah blah. Yeah, if he could do that, it only makes sense that Izuku should be able to detect something out there is becoming more of a monster than it was before. Also, that woman was married and had kids and everything. Oh yeah, definitely. Reminds me of the origin story of the villain Brain Freezer from Johnny Test. He was serving coffee when a cute girl ordered a drink. He asked her if she wanted to go somewhere together, and she said she already had plans that night, not even a rejection. Literally 2 seconds later, and he was a full-blown supervillain. I mean, yeah, no, man, like that's probably what's gonna happen. Like, All for One definitely had some rejection in his life. Death Ray made the joke. Why aren't you writing Hero Academia instead? I want to see All for One become Naraku, Inuyasha main villain. Yes, thank you. I thank you for putting down who that was. If you think about it, All for One and One for All quirks that are acting out of the realm of physics and reality of My Hero Academia. Oh no, I've thought about that plenty of times, Jason. Like I have thought about it. But there's other quirks that are pretty weird too, right? Like Momo's quirk is pretty weird because she's creating something from nothing. Like no matter how you look at it, it doesn't matter if she's taking in 500. Like look, at the end of the day, because of conservation of mass, right? This girl cannot be producing a cannon. Where did that mass come from? Like she must be if she is actually eating as much as she produces, she must be storing this thing in an interdimensional pocket dimension, right? At which point we are fully in the realms of something else. And then you have something like Dark Shadow. Dark Shadow is also kind of weird because it has sentience. Like there are a few quirks that are kind of weird, but that's mostly because Horikoshi hasn't really talked more about them. Malnourished younger siblings are her type. Oh, probably. Yeah, no man, she's probably like the kind of, actually the baker girl. She's the kind of girl that when she sees someone who isn't eating well, she gives them food. She's the kind of girl that wants to help people and help them be healthy. That's probably it. Because All for One probably looked like he was homeless at one point in his life, and this girl just felt so bad for him that she had to give him. But see, the difference between All for One and Yoichi is that Yoichi is too concerned about justice and stuff like that, so he has no time for a baker girl. You know, he probably accepts the kindness, and then he goes and gives the bread that he wants to eat to someone else, because that's the kind of guy he is. And she's just like, oh my god, yeah, how could a wonderful person like that ever exist? And then you have his brother just always pestering her, throwing rocks at her window every other night. Yeah, no man, I could 100% see why no one would want to be with All for One. And now look at him, he's a potato head. Poor guy. What if the girl isn't a girl but All for One's mom? Oh, so he has a mama complex? Oh, Mama for All loved Yoichi more. That kind of sucks. It actually sounds like Thanos and Death's relationship. Yeah, actually, Tyler, we were talking about it yesterday. It's just like this guy is just hardcore pining for a lady. Let's see. It's probably not even that trip. He seems like such a social outcast. He'll probably fall in love with a girl who keeps the elevator open for him. I see him as a sad businessman. Oh man, yeah. But see, the thing is, I don't think All for One would work at any building with an elevator. Oh, you know what? He might have been like a janitor. I actually could see All for One being a janitor. If she cat leaps with everyone else or anything, I'm dropping the manga. That's really bad writing, and I don't want to relive this whole arc. Death Ray, it's just like Cat Leaper has been the solution to a lot of things. That's why it might be a twist on Cat Leaper. Like, look, again, if he sticks, if all the things that have happened stick, then that's good. But honestly, with the amount of death that's occurred, I really don't think the things are going to stick. There's too much death. All for One is such a bro-kun that he's trying to get the best of it. I picture him screaming the name of his brother every night like Endeavor shouting Shoto. Well, we saw him in Tartarus, right? Like, he was laughing, and when he saw his brother, he got really, really excited. He's 100% shouting out for his brother, man. All for One reacted to the original All for One quirk being accurate again. That multi-dimensional reference just meant the difference in power being one for all one versus every other quirk series not named Erasure. Okay, gotcha. Momo stores all she needs for a quirk in her boobs, so that explains your question on it, Trip. No, Terry, that girl would have horrible back problems, and I don't see them. Naruto was down bad. Kikyo treated his wounds and took care of him, and he fell in love. But she loved Inuyasha, so he gave his body to 1,000 demons and tricked them into killing each other. Oh, okay. That's pretty salty. Momo quirk is broken, and like you said, Hody can't use characters like her properly. He needs to work on fight planning and choreography for next series. Although the Shigi vs. Everyone fight was done pretty well. Yeah. Shigi vs. Everyone is done pretty well. Like, he needs characters to be at the same level, pretty much. If a character, if you have a really fundamental disparity, things get pretty bad. But, like, I think he does better when you have a powerful villain and not as powerful heroes. If the heroes are too powerful, things become a little bit messier, because the heroes, like, it's just, I think it's a different dynamic. I can't put it in words, but I think there is a fundamentally different dynamic that's easier to pull off when you can always let your villain go crazy, and then you can always, like, finagle some kind of way to make people rise to the occasion. But for Momo has to fall to the occasion to make the story work out. Really, Momo should only be in fights at the end of an arc, because those fights are the more critical ones, and Momo is allowed to do more, I think. I mean, if we want to talk about crazy quirks, I think Warp Gate is up on that list. Your body is comprised as a mist that can tear open holes in space itself. Yeah, Warp Gate's pretty good too. Warp Gate is like theoretical physics or like speculative physics, right? Because of warp holes. I mean, the other one, the vomit out the sludge and get teleported quirk, that quirk is pretty weird. Like, honestly, what was Horikoshi thinking when he made that quirk? Because that quirk, you wouldn't think, I'm going to vomit sludge, and by the virtue that I am vomiting sludge, I'm about to be teleported. That is so weird. That one might actually be... that one's really weird. So far, one of the animes I have my eye, a retired hero tries to rebuild the Demon King's army. Long story short, MC saves the world and knows that the world is at peace. They don't want him there because he's too strong. He reincarnates in another world and wishes to serve the Demon Lord army. Oh, okay. Maybe Deku has detected All for One and will show up in the last second to save Star and Stripe, which is why the explosion last chapter last week. I don't know about Matt. I think you're being very hopeful. I feel like that's just what we saw there was... I think that is Shigaraki. I think next week we see Super Saiyan Shigaraki. There's no way around it. I think we're going to see, like, Glorious Locks Shigaraki. And you know what? No matter how glorious his hair becomes, I think he's always going to have chapped lips. Or maybe just, like, the lack of lips. Kikyo was my first anime crush. Her final death was tragic. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Tai. Not sure I've seen that manga around. Let's see. All for One is the kind of guy who screams at the ceiling about the fickle nature of human heart and insurance clauses. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, insurance. Maybe he was an insurance salesman, but not like the good ones. Like one of those multi-level marketing insurance salesmen. Oh, that'd suck. Janitor All for One looking at all those salarymen wearing their fantasy suits, thinking to himself, I could be like them. If I could be like them, then she would look at me. Oh, Mark, I bet. That feels like All for One energy. I wouldn't mind if Horikoshi does a horror manga after this. He's the best shonen artist, in my opinion. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. The biggest problem with balanced fight Shigaraki's decay. Since once his quirk is active, any touch should be an instant death, or maybe at least your quirk gets stolen. Oh, I don't see the English, but yeah, no, I agree. Like we saw the counter to Shigaraki, that being sheer experience when it comes to Endeavor. But yeah, Shigaraki's going to be an interesting one to see. Like, it's going to be interesting whether or not the author decides to go with just high speed agility to kind of counter Shigaraki, or if he goes to just whatever Izuku did during the last fight, or just flat out somehow neutralizing decay. Like, if Izuku gets new order and he applies to himself, he can't be decayed. That would be interesting. But again, at that point, Izuku, there's so many other things you could be doing with that quirk. Each time I see Shigaraki leveling up, the more scared I become for Izuku. Nah, 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 Kayla, don't. Remember, this is all to get... At the end of the day, Izuku's going to win. No matter how much Shigaraki levels up, this is still Izuku's going to win. Like, remember, like, Shigaraki's upgrades happen in response to Izuku's upgrade. So these two characters have just been in a constant fight of one-upping each other, even though they don't know they're in a fight of one-upping each other. I think it's going to be okay. And I, in my mind, I still don't think Shigaraki's getting New Order. Is there such a thing as a good insurance salesman? Well, the good insurance salesman is the one that doesn't cut your brake line in order to get you to think that you need life insurance. You know, like the good insurance salesman is the one that doesn't sabotage your stuff to try and make you think that you need insurance. Let's see. Yeah, it's light novel where the MC just says screw it after saving the world because the people that he saved don't want him there simply because he's too strong. Just not sure if Hody is going to go the way of 1v1 ending or 2v1. Or maybe Class A versus Shigi ending. Yeah, I'm not too sure either, man. Like, I was thinking about it today too. Like, what is Bakugo going to really do during the final fights? And I'm not too sure. I think you could have like a performative Class 1A versus Shigaraki just to show them all working together. And to really pull it off. I think you could do performative just for the good feels there. Like, Shoto's going to be busy with Dobby. The issues really are, like, Ida, Ochako, and Bakugo. Like, what are they going to end up doing? I don't know. I do think at the end of the day, there's going to be a 1v1 segment with Izuku and Shigaraki. I think that's happening no matter what. And if that doesn't happen, it'll be, like, Bakugo and Izuku versus Shigaraki. But at the same time, like, it's just so hard because Bakugo doesn't have any serious rhetoric with anyone worth talking about. And so that throws me off a little bit. Like, personally, I do enjoy that at this moment in time. I can only really see the Shoto situation and the Izuku situations in terms of final fights. But for everything else, it's interesting. Oh, wait. I should power up Beto while we're here. So, let's check Beto. And she's got... Where are you? What am I looking for? Okay, so I need to power that up. But I think... Ah, there we go. Ascension. So, we need the purples. So, 3 of the purples. Let's see. Funny enough, right now I'm literally writing an essay on the corrupt portrayal of insurance salesmen within a novel. I'm literally writing it as I listen to the stream. Oh! That is funny! Yeah, okay, that is super funny. Oh, what a wonderful little coinky-dink. There's an isekai about Salaryman who gets put in charge of organizing the Devil King's army on the bureaucratic level. Oh, yeah, I would one day like to do a bureaucracy, just the wonders of bureaucracy type of novel. I think it would be good. The one that I'm working on right now that I'm almost finished with, and maybe we'll release in November. That one actually is a slow life isekai that I'm going to tell you all about once it's released. Yeah, no, the main premise was like the guy got screwed over after saving the world, so now he just wants to live in a cottage in the woods. That's the main premise. So hopefully it'll be done like in the next 2 weeks, and hopefully it'll come out in November. No, I got that already. Okay. Let's see. There are isekai people. Wait. I see Alpha One as a failed used car salesman. He wears this suit to make people think he's important. This probably gave his failed romance attempts, but seeing his brother succeed. Oh, this probably gave him... Oh, yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Like... I mean, at the end of the day, like, this is a guy who couldn't be bothered to read the end of a manga or a comic or whatever, right? Like, this isn't the guy that has the best attention... Like, he doesn't have the best attention span. So I 100% see this. Imagine being a failed used car salesman, man. Like, imagine. Okay, no, I need those little blue things. Or the gold medallions from those thieves. Now let's see. Here we go. I do want to do a spiral run just to see if Beto is doing well here. So we're going to do that. Probably do as much as we can. Beto's still not built for Spiral, but maybe we'll get something. Maybe we'll get far. Maybe she'll show off her incredible power. Okay. Okay. And then just power that. Okay, their Isekai people hate summoning hero because they always but they need other world people fight Demon King. Well, their Isekai people hate summoning hero because they always... Oh, okay. I think I get what you're saying there, John. Will he try to shoehorn some sort of Izuku Ochako Toga final fight arc story thingamajig? I don't think so. I think Toga is going to be so hardcore in the I have to save Shigaraki thing that she's not going to be presenting any significant conflict. Like at this point, I think he's going to try to redeem Toga because Toga's popular or whatever reason he can come up with. And I do think legitimately, like, this has been my opinion from the beginning, but I do think Toga is going to be showing up in the story when she has to save Shigaraki. Who knows? Spinner might fall to All for One as well, and then she'll have even more reason to try and save Shigaraki. So Toga won't be on the villain side for the final fight, which I could see Toga and Ochako fighting in the final battle. Yeah, I really don't think she's going to be on the villain side on this one. Oh, I have an ongoing challenge. Well, let's see what I was doing. Let's see. Yeah, he becomes one of 4 Heaven Kings, and it's hilarious that he uses tactics from his world and Underworld. I just appreciate he wears a suit and tie. Yes. Let's see. And I assume that you're speaking about that bureaucracy one. Am I the only person who can get rejected and not become a terrorist? What? A girl told me, you're too depressed and that's the only thing we would have to talk about. And I'm still perfectly fine. You know, I just... For Death Ray, I just wanted to say, I thought, am I the only person who can get rejected and not become a terrorist? I thought that would be an amazing title for a light novel. That's such an amazing title. Okay. Oh, hey Frosty. What's up, man? How are ya? It's been a while. But yeah, no, Death Ray, that's an amazing title. I can already see the story. It's a story about this one guy just surviving in a world where every villain is just really salty that girls don't like them. Alright. Sarge said, Asushi tweeted, My Hero Academia 331 preview, a hero and a villain collide. The result is, never seen the point of this useless hype. Yeah. Didn't we already know that from last week? That's the editorial comment, isn't it? We already knew that from last week. I'm pretty sure we already knew that from last week. Miguel says, Hey Trip, have you seen the World's Best Assassin episode? I saw episode 2. Miguel, I haven't seen episode 3 yet. So don't let me know. I do want to see what's going on. Imagine All for One on a blind date, probably talking about how awesome he is, which are probably lies. Something tells me he didn't get his quirk until adulthood. Your thoughts? Oh no, fully agreed. Fully agreed. I really do feel that... I feel like... Sorry, I'm just reading Skelly's comments. Sorry. Yeah, no, I don't think he got his quirk until adulthood. I think he got it in adulthood. I think he's lame. I think he probably has ADHD, and I think that's pretty funny. Jason asks, have I thought about a good scenario about how Izuku could reach Shigaraki to save him without it feeling contrived or asinine? A world of incels, so it takes place in our world. Oh, savage. Oh, guys, by the way, and apologies because I am not hip with the times. I don't like people. I don't like talking to people. When someone says drip, what does that mean? I realized that For Neverworld said it yesterday in his video that like Shigaraki had drip or whatever, and I don't understand. So someone, please, the young people, help me update my lingo. I don't understand this whole thing about drip. I know drip marketing because of Genshin stuff, but I don't know drip. So someone please laugh at me and also tell me what that means. But coming back to this, does Shigaraki save him? You know, this is it's a tough situation because this kind of comes out of nowhere. And this kind of just goes, like, Shigaraki's such a muddy character that it's just so hard. Like, Shigaraki has more characterization saying that he really shouldn't have any kind of hidden subconscious here. But when it comes to saving Shigaraki, first off, what the author is going to do, very likely, is that he's going to turn Shigaraki into a bigger victim. For this to work, he's going to have to take away some kind of autonomy from Shigaraki. He's going to have to show Shigaraki really suffering to some degree. The only thing that really makes me question this is that I don't know what the author is trying to do with this whole hate thing that comes from that house. And at some point, I do think like Shigaraki's memories are just... I think Shigaraki tells himself things that aren't correct, which now introduces a layer of uncertainty when it comes to Shigaraki's personal narrative. I feel like for Shigaraki here, you have to victimize him so much that you have to see him crying. I feel like you have to make him look really, really weak. I feel like you have to strip a lot of things away from him. And then I think when you're saving him, you have to go super metaphoric. I think like when you go into the Vestige World sequence, you probably have to go in there and you have to have Izuku dive into the depths of darkness and find that original Tenko and pull that Tenko out. So you're going to have to look for the vulnerability of the child that's crying within Shigaraki, the child that's holding on to his dog. You have to find that you have to find the inner innocence in there, and then you have to use that inner innocence to speak to current Shigaraki, and you have to tell him like, hey, remember this, remember who you were. Like there were legitimate feelings of happiness here. So it's just such a mess. The metaphor has to go up. You have to really probably lean in on Shigaraki's inner child. And then you have to talk to Shigaraki using the inner child. And likely, the person that's going to speak to Shigaraki directly is going to be himself. We're probably going to see Tiny Tenko telling Shigaraki that this isn't what they wanted to do. And like he's going to remind him of the times that they actually hoped for the future. Like if you remember, after Tenko saw that picture of Nana, he felt like he really could make it. He felt like he could do anything kind of thing. So he has to go back to that feeling and try and pull everything out of there. Yeah, it's pretty much empowering that part of Shigaraki and then having that part of Shigaraki talk to Shigaraki himself. Because Izuku, as an outsider, doesn't understand Shigaraki's inner feelings. Because like the other issue is that Shigaraki himself doesn't understand what's going on inside of him. So because of that, the safest option might be to have inner child Tenko speak to Shigaraki and try to convince him to do something else. You might also have Toga in there trying to reach out to him, and if Spinner is still alive, maybe also Spinner. It's just like the biggest challenge here is the convincing, and then the other challenge here is Izuku's lack of being Jesus. So yeah, probably dive into the depths of the heart and pull out inner child and have inner child talk. That's probably the way to go about this one. So I think if you have Izuku doing the majority of saving Shigaraki from himself, I think that's going to be a little bit contrived just because Izuku comes in there with limited power and he doesn't understand everything that Shigaraki went through. But inner child Shigaraki wouldn't have that kind of problem. And then, like, in broad strokes, this would just be conscience, Shigaraki listening to his conscience for the first time in years. That's what I got. That's the thought I got for that one. One of the upcoming anime without an official date is pretty much Stock Market the anime. Okay. Let's see, a world of incels, so it takes this. Okay. Let's see. I'm almost positive the will of the world won't let me win the losses. I would probably use all the money on petty revenge for everyone who's ever wronged me, rejected me. Tallow? That's what I tell myself too. Like I look at myself like I'm not winning in life because I know I'm gonna be a terrible person if I have power. So, you know, I thank life for keeping me straight and desperate. Yep. Anyway, Skelly's jokes. Also, I would put a ton of cash into the channel. Mr. Beast must be brought down. Oh. Nice. Alright, yeah, Tallow. That'd be pretty cool. Like, Tallow, you'd be pretty cool. Then you can make more money because people would watch your content just to see you helping people. Skelly says, you managed to beat me to it. Well played, Skelly. Well played. There was a group that created D-Luke's sword. Oh, okay. Fashion and swag. Drip is pretty much fashion. Oh. I thought I was. What is drip? Oh wait, this very yes, great. Drip just means style and clothing. Okay, honestly, guys, I did not think that was what it was. Wow. You know, back in my day, we just said someone was stylish. I guess now it's drip. Okay. Yeah, okay. Can someone use it in a sentence? But I'm glad that White Despair was also here with me. But, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, all right. I feel like I'm a little bit younger now. I feel like I'm like 20 years younger. Excellent. I'm one of the kids now. Gotta shave off this thing and then I'll really look like one of the kids. I just started watching Jobless, just finished the new episode, but then I looked through your videos and saw who he ends up with. I was so happy watching that. Also, Roxy, best girl, but I like them all. Oh, Frosty, well, don't worry, man. Like, it's all good. It's all gonna be great. Actually, yeah, if you saw the video, you know, like, the whole thing. He lied, though, because Shigaraki don't got no style. Well, Shigaraki's got, like, Abomination style, right? Like, he's got, like, Shigaraki rowdiness, then all for one shabby used car salesman style. He lied, though. Okay, I got that. Like, Drip Goku is just Goku wearing a Supreme jacket because it's cool. Oh, Oh, that's lame. It got its name from the Drip Jordans, which are very expensive tennis shoes. Oh. And yeah, Tallow, saying Drip totally slaps. Yeah, lit, fam. Am I right? Kawabonga, dudes. Nah, man. But okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize, like, Drip Goku. That's weird. Okay. It's always so funny hearing people ask what drip because the question always sounds so awkward. Yeah, it's the new slang for swag, kinda. Oh, okay. If you don't understand the word drip, you must not have understood Anime Ball Deep videos since he keeps saying the Black Clover characters have drip. Oh yeah, no, I don't watch Anime Balls Deep because I don't watch anyone that calls themselves Balls Deep in anything. You realize that in order for Izuku, the scenario you propose requires All For One trying to steal One For All again for them to end up in... That's the only way. Let's see. Where are you, Jason? Oh yeah, we can see that Tenko again. So Chigi changes right at the moment when All For One's about to win, sealing. The Jesus reference probably means some kind of sacrifice. Chigi's probably gonna die. I mean, he literally died already. He should have stayed with his family. He's literally kept alive by hate at the moment. So the moment he lets it go, he's gonna die and be with his family again. Oh, that's cool. You went pretty far. So I like that last little bit there. The idea that he's with his family again. That'd be interesting. But yeah, no, I 100% see them going back to Vestige World. 100%. Because I feel like you're going to need to see all of the One For All vestiges standing united against All For One. And, you know, they could do this any way, really. Like, they could even just have the moment that their fists collide. You know, like, anime does that thing where people talk through their fists and they go into, like, another, like, level of existence. Yeah, you could just have that happen again and then just do it there. But yeah, no, like, 100%. He's going back to Vestige World. Do you see Shigaraki dying after Izuku saves him, or will he just be set for being in jail for life? I'd rather he not die, honestly. I'd rather he kind of try and, you know, fix things. But we'll have to see. I feel like Dobby's dying already, so I'd rather keep Shigaraki alive. I would still find that a little weird since that part of Shigaraki is kind of already at the forefront. Whenever he went plus, he said that so long as he keeps his origin within his heart, then he feels like he can do anything. It is a little bit weird, but Shigaraki is already not listening to it. Like, remember when Shigaraki is going back towards All For One? Some voice in his head tells him, don't go, or don't do it, right? That voice is probably Tenko's voice. So at the end of the day, like, this is the issue. We know that Shigaraki's done this. He's looked at his past, and he's recontextualized it for his current purposes. I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing. So I feel like he's recontextualizing everything and warping it. At the end of the day, there is still something that Izuku saw that is a little boy crying within Shigaraki. That is a fundamental aspect of his nature that Shigaraki isn't acknowledging. So I do feel that this thing is going to come back out again. And mind you, like, I don't think Shigaraki's mental state is well written. I really don't. I think it's just messy and muddied, and the author doesn't know what... Like, the author feels like he's going one step forward and two steps back. It's just like... Especially watching the anime again, it's just an issue of... You have Shigaraki go through this whole thing about how these hands have no power over him. And then you have Spinner referencing a moment that happens before he has his big ultimatum with those hands. And those hands ultimately still have power over him. Like, make up your mind, right? Like, but the whole thing with the villains has been messy in general. Skelly said, "Dive into the depths and beat the poop out of the inner child." Yeah, I would. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Um, he totally looked like a. Let's see. Could you clarify what exactly meant when you compare Izuku to Jesus? Oh, sorry, White Despair. What I meant there was back during Naruto. That was my fault. Back during Naruto, Naruto was pretty much just people started calling Naruto Ninja Jesus just because Naruto was doing really amazing things, and Naruto always had a way to talk to people and have them unravel all of their evilness in one go. He even was able to talk one guy into sacrificing himself to revive every other character that died during a war, right? So that was just a reference to Naruto. The significance there is just like with Naruto, Naruto had like evil detection powers by the end of it. Naruto like super empathetic by the end of it. Naruto was really just a beacon of peace. So he was able to talk to all these characters and de-escalate them. But Izuku doesn't have those faculties that Naruto had for whatever reason. So that's what I ultimately meant. Izuku does not have the ability to actually understand people at a fundamental level and give them salvation the way that Naruto was able to, or the way that Jesus was able to. Like, Jesus was able to absolve people's sins, much like how Naruto was by calling someone, the person that murdered many, 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 many people, an MVP. So that's what I meant. Izuku can't just absolve people's sins, nor does he have any way of actually understanding what people went through the way that Naruto at some point seemed like he could. Why do people say music slaps? That's the dumbest thing. Okay, let's see. I think Horikoshi is holding too desperate to optimism, which is in rare supply in the modern world. You think it's desperate? I don't know, Talo. I don't know if I'd call it desperate. I think it's an... Well, like, Shonen Jump runs on idealism and optimism, right? So, I don't know. Are we getting here? Oh, no, sorry. We're getting them next week. Stop it. You sound so old. Yeah, Ty. I am so old. I'm horrendously old. Guys, I think I just felt my back break. Oh God, there it goes. And I hate these new terms. Oh, great, Sarge. I'm envious of your youth. A little late, but heard you mention the Atsu. Oh yeah, sorry. No, that was just Atsu saying a preview for next week's chapter. Let's see. Balls Deep is actually a good content creator. He made a song about Dante being a simp for Lucifero. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, I'm sure he's a fine guy. But at the same time, I don't really get to watch all that many content creators nowadays because of how busy I am. Oh, no worries, Robert. I think Dobby's going to be the one to stay alive, or both him and Shigi will die, but Toga's definitely going to live. Agreed. Toga's definitely going to live. I think the next chapter is also on raising Shigaraki angry more by showing his past, and also how he gave him decay. Ty, that would be really cool. Like, I'm rooting for you on that one, man. And yeah, White Despair, yeah, so that was my bad, like, legitimately. I was just reading your comment there, about the Jesus comment. Like, Izuku isn't Jesus, is the point. And he's definitely not, Naruto. And thankfully, I'm glad that Miguel brought something up, because I was hoping Miguel was going to bring something up, because he's the one that knows Naruto quite well. The thing with Talk No Jutsu, Miguel says, is that those people already had cracks in their way of thinking and doubts, and he just made his way talking so they exposed their own hypocrisy. But see, that in of itself is... It applies here because Shigaraki has cracks in him as well because of the way the subconscious is working at this point. But the point with Naruto is that Naruto was able to expertly do this with a simple talk, right? And the thing is, like, Naruto also started off being a knucklehead, but his emotional intelligence was really, really high. Izuku doesn't really have high emotional intelligence, at least not to the degree that Naruto had when it came to being able to de-escalate people. Like, Naruto found a way in through the crack, and then he absorbed everything like a sponge and just kind of erupted or like burst things from the inside out. Izuku, I don't think, is fully there, and he doesn't really have that way of really talking to people. And this is like one of those issues where I think the author makes it worse by shortening Izuku's time with Muscular and Shizaki. Like, look at the way that Izuku talks to Shizaki. Look at the way that he talks to Muscular. He's asking them basic questions, and like with Shizaki, he just says like, "Hey, if you could be that nice to Eri, then maybe we could talk," right? Izuku doesn't really dive in deep the way that Naruto used to, and so that's really what throws off the impression of Izuku. And also, Izuku is pretty dismissive of other people when he has himself in the sights, or when he has self-sacrifice in the sights. So Izuku gets a little bit tougher. And the other issues as well is like when you look at Izuku's big moments of winning people over, like with Koda. Koda isn't won over by Izuku's words. He's won over by Izuku's actions. And specifically, if Muscular doesn't attack, Kota has no reason to see why heroes are worthwhile. Like, Muscular does more for Kota's turnaround than Izuku does. But again, the thing is, Izuku's actions are what speak louder for him than his words, which isn't the same for Naruto, because Naruto's words carry him very, very far. So these are the distinctions between the characters. Jason says, speaking from a psychological standpoint, I think the hand reference might be something in Shigaraki's subconscious that he's not aware of. Probably an example of reaction formation. Okay. I would agree with you that it's something subconscious that he's not aware of, but at that point, we are bringing up the fact that there are things that he's not aware of. And that's what makes Shigaraki so messy. And this is like what I ultimately speak about, like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So thank you for stepping in there, Jason, because that kind of emboldens me to continue saying it. Like, yeah, as long as Shigaraki's not aware of things, we have many opportunities to walk things back by just saying like, oh, Shigaraki misinterpreted this or wasn't aware of this particular formation here when he was talking about this thing at so-and-so date. Like, that's like the unfortunate thing. By having so many unknowns with Shigaraki, the author can really do whatever he wants when justifying whatever Shigaraki wants to say. Oh, Our Last Crusade is getting a part 2. Good for them. Do you play any other games like the new Kono or Danmachi? No, Frosty, I don't. Well, I play Arknights like sometimes now, and then we'll see if we can get more games going. Naruto's also a story of compromise. Someone has to compromise in order to stop the cycle of hatred. Is it about compromise? Like, or someone has to like stop. Someone has to stop seeking revenge in order to stop the cycle of hatred. Like, the buck has to stop with someone, and someone ultimately has to take the hit. I don't know. Well, I guess that is compromise. Thanks for why people view Naruto as Jesus. It helps understand why people compare Naruto to Black Clover. Has to be switching antagonists to the good side. Well, you know, Kayla, I really did not think that that was going to be a significant explanation. But I'm happy that that helps. Asta be switching antagonists to the good side. I guess so. I think Asta's not as bad because Naruto has way more chapters dedicated to the talks. Do you think our grandchildren look at us weird when we're still meeting and playing video games and talking anime? No. Like, they'll be raised to know that a portion of their lunch money comes from these videos. Maybe like $5 or $6. Let's see. Do you think? Yeah, no, I think it'll be fine. Like, also, I could just hole up in a basement somewhere and they wouldn't know about it. Hey, Seth. Still betting that Star isn't really buff and tall, and after the battle, we see a smaller version of her with the super strength rule not being used. Man, that's going to be so unfortunate. Like, honestly, that's going to make me think so badly of her. Because especially if she can't muster up the same strength that All Might had, I would at least like to see her try, you know? So... Okay, what's the strategy here, guys? What am I doing? Uh-oh. There we go. Come on, girl. Just grab... I should have... Don't like this. I don't like this at all. This is not what I want to do. I'm going to leave. Still betting that Star... Okay, got that. Naruto wasn't emotionally intelligent. He didn't even know he loved Hinata for years. He was emotionally intelligent when it came to talking down the villains. No, remember Lucemon beat up 2 Mega Digimon's ultimate... no, I do not remember that. Naruto breaking Zabuza's shell is still my favorite Talk No Jutsu moment. Seeing Zabuza cry was such a shock. Well, Naruto could talk to them because of his past failures, for example, with Sasuke at the end of the first part and the first encounter. And also the villains were for the most part twisted versions of himself. Maybe Hori could make Shigi and Izuku's twisted version. But he's already kind of done that with Gentle. I don't think you could twist Shigaraki into being Izuku. Is it something he's not aware of? I would say it's him recalling how his sister Hana would always take him by the hand when he was troubled. At least that's the impression I got when he decayed the crowd of people in My Villain Academia. Oh, well, I can legitimately tell you I never had that impression about it. The issue is that Izuku only had that one with Gentle, but he hasn't been able to relate with any other villain since. Oh, yeah, Miguel, so you brought up Gentle. Yeah. I think it works if that route you want to take. Reaction formation is a defensive mechanism, and since hands are linked to trauma, it's a perfect setup. Okay. Well, like, I agree with what you said at the beginning, so I have no problem with bringing up that Shigaraki doesn't know parts of himself. Like, at the end of the day, I legitimately think that Shigaraki doesn't know parts of himself, and I think a lot of our ideas are based on the idea that Shigaraki doesn't know some things. I don't think Hero Academia will boil down to a rhetorical exchange. Like you said, Izuku's actions compounded with who he is what breaks through to people. Oh yeah, no, man. And Seth, like we were talking about this a little bit earlier as well, but like what's likely going to happen is that the rhetorical exchange is going to happen between Shigaraki and Izuku, and then it's going to become like a little bit of a beatdown when it comes to All For One, because I think All For One is going to be made to be a bit of a caricature as the final evil, and then maybe like at the end, like after the main fight's over, it goes back to a small talk. Like the saying goes, actions speak louder than words. Shoto brought this up when it came to Kota's situation and him. Asta doesn't switch them like Naruto did. Even Asta knows that some can't be saved. There's a series of videos called In Defense of Talk No Jutsu. There are 3 parts, and I recommend watching those videos. Like, mind you, Miguel, I don't have any particular problem with the Talk No Jutsu. I think you know this because I've... Oh, see ya, Talo. Yeah, old age, catching up. I'm feeling it too. And yeah, okay, cool, Seth. Good to know we're on the same page there. But yeah, Miguel, I have no problems with Talk No Jutsu because in my mind, I think Talk No Jutsu was a wonderful ideal. Because I too would like for situations to be ended with compromise and talking. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with being able to de-escalate a villain. Yeah, you know, I think that's an ideal that we should all strive for. So I really have no fundamental issue with Talk No Jutsu. However, it is worth pointing out that Talk No Jutsu did create a problem when it came to the look of a Shonen Jump series. Because of Talk No Jutsu's prevalence, you end up in a situation where you have Madara, who isn't really listening to Naruto because they have nothing to really relate on. But then you have Kaguya, who just comes in out of nowhere as an alien, pretty much. And she ultimately doesn't get talked to because she's just a caricature made to be defeated, right? And that's the issue with Talk No Jutsu, is that at some point, if you have Talk No Jutsu being a big thing, because of the necessities of a Shonen Jump manga, you're going to need a villain that at the end of the day doesn't listen to it. And what better way to do that than to bring in an alien that came out of nowhere with a completely different moral system? So it's interesting. It is ultimately interesting. And at the end of the day, I still value the Talk No Jutsu. Katakor uploaded Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy. Oh, okay. Cool. So many isekais coming out. How did Naruto fall from grace so badly? Random trainer. It's called Boruto Cherry. That's funny. Alright, that was funny, guys. That was funny. Okay, so let's see again. I'm kind of... I do still want to do... I do still want to do Beidou team, so I think I'll do that. I will put Raiden in. I will put Ningguang in. And then who was my last character for this team? Might have been Venti. And then for Beidou, because I need her to generate particles faster, I think the best shot here might be this grouping, because it'll tank my DPS with Barb. But where are you, Beidou? Oh, there you are. I think that will work in the long run, and then we can put in Fischl to see if I can get the electro battery happening better. See ya, Jason. And yeah, great chat, man. Thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate it, and thank you for talking so much. And yeah, guys, after I do this run, I'm probably going to call it too, because it is pretty late for me as well. But I gotta say, thank you all for being here. This was really fun this time. Well, almost always it's pretty fun. But we had for a night without Hero Academia, we did really well on keeping conversations going. Let's see. Can't wait to see this merge personality. Hope it's something like World War Heart Mind of Banner with the Strength of Hulk. Probably has All for One Mind and Smugness with Shigaraki. Hate for everything. Probably. Freaking aliens. Naruto threw me off. Such a weird twist. I know, right? Like, even in Boruto, it's still pretty... It's not only fun when I'm not around. It's only not fun. Well, that's kind of true. That's kind of true. Like, there's a very unique kind of fun that comes in when Terry's talking about Mineta and Momo. It's a not... You can't really replicate the kind of fun that brings up. Good. Good, Noelle. Good. Do 10,000 damage per hit. Yes, Noelle. This is power. Ah, Noelle's the best. Okay, let's start beating this thing up. Oh, god damn it. That's okay. Then we go there. That's okay. Who is... Okay. Okay. So, where is this little guy hitting me from? There he is. Great. Great, 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 great. Take this guy out as well. Oh, Seth. I don't dislike the concept either, but Kishimoto could never meld it with his world. The character just stopped feeling real in service of whatever Naruto's narrative was. I understand that. Do higher level chests respawn in just... Sheaf. No, they don't respawn, but it does look like whenever you hit a new adventure rank, it does seem that some chests reveal themselves. I took over a year getting my thing established. LOL is smug. Let's see. And Seth, no worries, man. No worries. Like, you're here now. We can still talk about a few things. Oh, depends on what we get here. I'm really hoping I get luck. Oh, Seth, are there any characters you're looking forward to in Genshin? I think you're playing Genshin, right? I'm pretty sure you're one of the ones that plays it. But yeah, are there any characters you're looking forward to? Now this might actually be the problem here. Oh, never mind. Not a problem. Anyway, I'm really hoping to get lucky with even 20 wishes of how I got Child for Hu Tao. I have about 15 Primo Gems and the potential banners look like I'm gonna be drained if I don't play my card right. Yeah, man. This looks like it's gonna be tricky with these upcoming banners. Cause like I'm looking at it right now and it's like I think I want Ito. I know. Usually I go for the girls, but like Ito's he looks pretty good. And if he's gonna be like a broken DPS, I really want him because that's gonna make things so much easier. But then there's so many other characters, like Shen He is in the files now, and Yu and Jin, but I think she's going to be a 4-star. And then we have Yae coming up too. Like, it's going to be a lot. I want Asta to marry Rebecca. It would be a plot twist no one saw coming. That would be good. Yae Miko. It's hard to feel motivated for Ito because he needs a whole new team. Oh wait, does Ito need a whole new team? Because I saw that people were saying that he would work on full Geo. But does he need a new team? Because like Noelle doesn't really need a new team. Oh, Seth, you're out of it. You're out of Claymore. Gohan saving for Yae. I will go for Hu Tao rerun after I will save for Yae or Miko. Later, random. And then... Yeah, I do definitely want Yae as well. It's going to be tough. And you know, for Yae, like from what it looks like from the reputable leakers, Yae is going to be the damage ceiling for Electro. So that's going to be pretty worth. Oh, come on. Okay, this guy's gotta die. I can't use my powers here at full... Can't use all my powers if this guy's just here. Okay, first let's throw that out. Alright, cool. Ah! Ice guy, I hate him. Where's the other ones? They're over here. Okay, great. Okay. So guys, like with Beto, like from what I understand, the strategy is you gotta get her ult firing almost all the time, and I'm not able to do that, so that's why we're in this situation. Okay, anytime now. Anytime now. Oh, great. Here we go. Good. Now those two are here. And then... Come on. Make it jump more. Where's all the power? Well, actually, I think we did that pretty well. Oh, yeah, that was actually pretty good. Let's see. So, Sarge was thinking Ito, but I also want Ganyu. Right, because the Ganyu reruns around the corner too, huh? Could you imagine the reaction of Dragon Ball fans when they found out Goku was an alien? Yeah, I guess that would have been a pretty big deal, huh? Yeah, I guess that would have been a big deal. Oh, see ya, Kayla. Oh, everyone's tuning out. So, yeah, I think once I do this chamber, I'll probably call it as well. Let's see. Ito is the most selfish character. Some people ship him with Sarah. Well, he probably doesn't need too much, but I'd want to get Albedo for particle generation, Goro for his defense boost, and I haven't built Noel yet for a Geo healer. Okay. Yeah, I did see that Albedo would be the one that works really well with him, and I don't have Albedo either. Alright, here we go. First go off for this guy, because this guy's the danger. Venti fires that thing off. Do that. Come on, Noel. Excellent. Nothing but power. Yeah, guys, I gotta say, I've really come to really love Noel recently. She's just so great. This is what it feels like to have a fully built unit. And I actually Noel's not fully built, but I really enjoy what I've got so far. Yeah, Sarah's CNVA ships it. Oh, okay. And let's see. Oh, one near's out too. Oh, oops! Better keep an eye on this. Gonna end up dying if I'm not careful. Oh, that's funny. Oh, there we go. Finally got my ultimate back up. Great. And now Noel will never die.
Someone needs assistance. Illusion shattered.
Let's see. Goku Kamen Brother. Let's see. I want Batman Isekai series. It'll be basically Cautious Hero series. Oh yeah, pretty much. Did you see Black Adam trailer? Oh no, I saw that it came out, but I haven't seen it yet. No.
Leave it all to me. Your life is mine. Inazuma shines eternal.
I do enjoy that I can just look away from the screen and know that Noel will be okay. Let's see. There are a ton of characters I want right now. Ganyu being number 1. The Geo characters I'm missing because I love that element, and Eula because I also love Claymores. Oh, okay, gotcha, Biz. Where are these guys? Gotta take this guy out quick before he charges up. Oh, he charged up. Okay. Well, that's too bad. Come on, you almost got him. You almost got him. Oh, I want. Oh yeah, Zhao. Zhao would be pretty good. I've never regretted having Zhao, man. Like Zhao has just been a great time for me. Oops, I died. It's okay because we got Barb. That's partly why I had Barb come into this team. I knew I was gonna make stupid mistakes. Holy crap, this girl's just crazy. probably pay more attention to her.
By royal decree, let's
Okay, where is she? There she is. Actually, just probably take him out just to finish it off. Let's see. Okay, that's one down, and then it's just her.
over here.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Where is she? Okay, there she is. What team do you like Zhao in? I haven't decided if I wanted to double G or animal team. For Zhao, like, he kind of just does things on his own, so I just kind of... I do put him with one more animal so that he has a battery. Because, you know, without a battery, he's not going to do very, very well.
I'll protect us.
What, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There you are.
Higher, pants on fire.
Oh, yes, I'm almost done, though. I'm almost done. But yeah, for Zhao, I have him usually with either... this isn't good, but I put him with Animal Traveler or Venti or Sucrose. And then for other things, because Zhao's always losing HP and I'm not a careful player, I do have him with Noelle. Or I put him with Barb to make sure it like, just counteracts my bad playstyles. But yeah, and recently I've been putting him with Zhongling just to have a lot of damage happening at the same time. One thing that is good for him is to put him with someone that has Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers, because then he gets the attack buff. But yeah, the Zhao carries by himself, so you just really need to buff him up and then just let it rip. And Ty was saying that the Batman trailer was good. I'll have to check it out. Love the I am Vengeance line. Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure if I'll go for Yabbit. If she's going to be Electro Shielding, I must have to. Ito is like double must get because Geo Claymore. Goro seems like he'll be interesting. But thankfully, Goro is going to be, whatchamacallit, a 4-star? So he'll be, like Goro, like realistically, it's likely that you will be able to get him at 6 Constellation in a year or so. So that's not really... Like, when it comes to Goro, I'm not too concerned about it because I know I'm going to have him eventually. But I am very concerned about getting Ito. Like, this might be one of those situations where I buy the monthly card. Because I don't think there's any way for me to get everyone I want without paying a little bit of money. But the monthly card is cost effective, so I don't really mind.
Now you shall perish. Time to clean up. Someone.
But yeah, otherwise I don't see an easy way of getting out of this one.
I'll catch up. Don't
Okay, now it begins.
time for takeoff.
Come on, Noelle. Keep whacking him pretty hard. Alright, let's see. I love how brutal this Batman is. Hope he doesn't kill. Zhao, Jean, Zhongli, and Albedo are a great comp. Yo, but man, but that's like so many 5-stars. I don't think I could do that. That's so many 5-stars, man. I don't even have Zhongli. I skipped out on him. Does this actually get me energy, like elemental particles? I don't think it does. Oh no.
Your life is mine.
Okay. This isn't working.
Shine down.
Well, at least I'll have this just happening here. This will just be a fight of really, like, just Ningguang versus this guy. He'll keep hitting me and I'll keep generating barriers, because that's just how this is going to work. Ah, excellent. Now Noelle can hurt him. I just wanted Water Boy for my Shadow team with Ice Boy, but I got C3 Rosaria. Well, isn't Rosaria, like, isn't she viable for DPS? Gohan is the one that uses Rosaria. Like, Rosaria is viable for DPS, I think. Just find 3 characters I'm already good at, max my skill out, and then the other guy thinks they're 5 stars. Without passing the choice, let's see. I hate playing Zhao because of how squishy he is. I always manage to get caught right as his plunging attack hits the ground, and takes like 60% of my health in my damage. It's so annoying. Yeah, no, man. That's why. That's why I put him specifically with Barb. Because Barb will do the revive if I'm too stupid, right?
Let's dance.
Oh, excellent. There we go.
Power that ended Hydra.
Where is this guy? Ah, great.
Time to go.
Ah, now it feels strong. Great, 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 great.
Wings of darkness. Come, sever let the show be.
Come on, just need a little bit more.
To ashes.
Great. And now this guy will start taking more damage. Let's see. Oh, see ya, Terry. And I only have Barb for applying Hydro. Oh, okay. Well, you'll get Water Boy eventually, man.
I'll protect us.
Oh, doesn't look like we'll be able to get 3 stars on this one. That's too bad.
Fire, fire, hands on fire.
As you wish,
Ooh.
Fräulein.
That was a bad one too. Okay. But yeah, guys, we're pretty close to the end here as well. Just gotta continue wailing on this guy.
Oz, reveal by
Okay, there we go.
eyes on me.
And then come on, almost there. Almost there. Ah, excellent. Great. I'll have to do floor 11 another day. But yeah, guys, we're going to call it there pretty much. And I'm going to say goodnight to the guys that are still here. So that's like Viz, Miguel, Seth, Robert, Terry. Oh, Terry's gone. Sarge, Ty, Sar. I think I called Robert out already. But yeah, underrated waifu is Tatsumaki from One Punch Man. The artist draws her in good position. The only 4-star currently obtainable that I don't have is Sayu. Hoping she gets put in the dead. Oh, Knight to Scale as well. And Knight to Mark, Animamus. But yeah, guys, gonna call it there, and we'll be back tomorrow. Probably Arknights, or if I can get that game that that Ty wants to see, Poppy Playtime. We'll check that one out. God, Ty, I hate you. But yeah, man. So we'll be back tomorrow, and everyone stay safe. Ending the stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a great night, everybody, and noted, Seth. Yeah, tag me on it, Seth, so I see it. And gotcha, White Despair. Have a good night as well, man. And good night, Gohan. Ah, good night, Miel. Okay, ending the stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There, we did.